So Jay's just nipped out for a coffee. We are on a slight delay. We had a bit of sound issues, unfortunately, so we've rectified them. But obviously the live feed will be 30 minutes away, so we're going to chat. And he'll be back very shortly, will the jailer. We'll have a chat to him about the about his result in the mini, which just had fantastic, just amazing numbers. So we're back. As you can see, right there, they've got the schedules for the next 30s that are coming up on tour. The Poker Room in London, in Newcastle, Birmingham, and Bury New Road in Manchester. They are the next week's 30-30s. So starting on Wednesday the 8th of September to Sunday the 12th. £400 buy-in, 50,000 guarantee. Then, as you can see, they move on to Reading, Leicester and Blackpool. The Wednesday the 29th of September till Sunday the 3rd of October, which is also the same week for the GUKPT main event in Edinburgh. So if you do want to play a main event up in Edinburgh, it'd be good to get back up there. Obviously it got changed because of the rules and regulations regarding COVID. But we are going back up to Edinburgh. Fantastic city. We love going up to Edinburgh. But the 30-30s are there. And then the end of October, 20th of October, till the 24th of October, Southampton, Bury New Road again, and then Glasgow. Bury New Road having two in the space of 6 weeks. So the 30-30s are banging out Bury New Road. And then Wednesday, the 10th of November to Sunday the 14th, which is just after Blackpool GUKPT. They have Leeds, Luton, Bolton and Edinburgh for the 30-30s. Any questions? Fire away. We should be back. We should be back for... we're going to have a chat. Jay's coming back with a cup of tea very shortly, but the live stream, as you can see in the top right hand corner, right up there, you can see in 27 minutes time the pictures will be back, but we will be on hand to stick 20p in the meter with Jay. Not mentioned if you've not mentioned the mini. Yes, we have mentioned the mini. He did well. He is on his way back very shortly. With the cuppers, the T-boy done well. But yeah, it was just a few sound issues that seemed to re-loop on ourselves, and we just had to do a quick restart. In the early stages, not really missing too much action, to be fair, but always good to see Albert Sapiano on the feature table. And when we get back to the table, Harvey Norris is going to be starting team number 1. Natalie Bromley, who is playing, big Burnley fan Natalie, now lives in Lytham St Anne's. Albert Sapiano, Martin Ockaday, Gary Stephen Smith, John Walker, Ash Scanlon and Jack Kent are going to be sat down with us. So fire away. Good morning, the Bronx Bomber. Great to see you. Scott walked in the building yesterday, looking cool. He was looking svelte. He looked like he'd lost a bit of weight as well. Look at him like that. He was playing I think he was playing the satellite last night. I don't know if he's got himself a seat today, but did you get yourself a seat playing the satellite yesterday? 13 seats last night for the GUKPT satellite. 13 seats and £450 in cash. So if you had another £100, another 300, you get yourself a seat. So, the Bronx Bomber, he busted 7 off the seats. So he must have finished in 21st place then. Very unlucky. Very unlucky. Yeah, there's another satellite tonight. There is another satellite tonight. If you want to check out the schedule for the GUKPT, go on to GUKPT.com, click down to leg 3 into Coventry on the events side of it, and then it will tell you Thursday the main event has started. The Super Satellite starts at 7 p.m. tonight. 5 seats guaranteed, £80 in, unlimited re-entries, and late entry for that is until 9:15 p.m. so there's plenty of chance to get in. 6 20 minutes on the clock and then 25 minutes all the way through to the end. 15,000 starting stack. Some people say it's too many chips for a satellite, but some people say it's not enough, so you can never please anybody. So it is what it is. Friday, day 1B of the main event, starting at 12. The turbo is on at 8, so there's no side event as such, but there is a turbo that's on at 8 o'clock. And then Saturday, day 2 of the main, the bounty starts at 6 o'clock. And there's also the seniors on Saturday as well, isn't it? I do believe. Apologies, the seniors is on Sunday. So Saturday is the bounty, starts at 6, 15,000 starting stack. Sunday is the main event, final day, which we will be concentrating on. And then there's the seniors at 2 o'clock. And at 4 o'clock, it's the last call, which is a £200 final event of the festival. So there's plenty to get stuck into. Jim Marlowe says, when is GUKPT going to Vegas? Or do you mean Luton? Loot Vegas. Luton GUKPT is October, I do believe. Pretty sure it's October. The dates are set for Luton. The page doesn't open up onto, unfortunately, but I'm pretty convinced it's Luton is the something like the 7th or 17th of October. If I quickly just check my diary, it'll tell us. We'll check out the dates. We've got wrote down. The main event for Luton is the 14th until the 17th. So Luton is 7th until the 17th of October. Full schedule on its way for that one. What about Liverpool? Yeah, well then, Leo's is a great place. They've got 30-30s. Next year, when the 25-25s come back, they'll be on as well. So the 30-30s are going on there. As you can see on the right-hand side, no more scheduled 30-30s. They've just had the 30-30 in Liverpool. Good numbers. A couple of weeks ago. That was always a great place to go to. Side of Albert Dock. Liverpool smashed it again. A good turnout in Sheffield. Yeah, they got there eventually. Sheffield just scraping over the line. But, yeah, Liverpool, I know it's a great looking card room. It's got the glass looking over the Mersey and the estuary there. But the smaller events, the deep stacks, the 25-25s, the 30-30s, all them when they all come back, always in Liverpool, always well attended. One of the nicest cities you'll ever go to, and especially going out for a drink. Yeah, so you want to go for a drink, go to Liverpool. It ain't a bad place indeed. Just looking through. We are just looking through while we... another 20 minutes to go, as you can see, the top right-hand corner, right there. Up there. 21 minutes to go until the feature table comes back. A few audio issues because we started to repeat itself. But we're back. So we'll have a little chat. And anything you want to chat about, ask the questions. And we'll answer them as good and as quickly as we can. The first person out today was Martin Frey from, I think Martin lives down in Peterborough, I do believe. Or he now resides in Nottingham. But Martin, as we know, was the last... I think Martin win the GUKPT in Coventry the last time it was here. Good old Martin Frey. He's a top dude. Well, he was the first out, unfortunately, in today's GUKPT. So Martin has gone by the wayside, unfortunately. He'll be back in, no doubt. No doubt about it. But... just having a quick gander of past results of the GUKPT. There are so many to go on. Don't forget this. If you're looking at seasons, This is season 15. It is. When will we be coming to Italy for a live event? Andy? Is it round the corner? Is it round the corner? Let me tell you. It would be great to come to Italy for any event. It really would. It really, really would. Unfortunately, it's not on the radar. We did Belgium once. We went to Blankenberg years and years ago. No, it was about 2010, 2011. We went to Belgium because Grosvenor had a casino in Blankenberg in Belgium. Right on the coast it was. It was a beautiful place. But yes, no, unfortunately nothing in Italy. Any dates regarding Goliath 2022? Not had confirmation just yet. I'll ask Jim this weekend because he did say that if there is any more information, we'll give it out at the GUKPT Coventry. So we will let you know if there is anything regarding Goliath dates for next season, whether they come to us while we are here. Fingers crossed they do. It's always good to advertise, and I know it's still 12 months in advance. If it is end of July, beginning of August, it has been. There's things going on next year. We know the Commonwealth Games are in Birmingham next year, so that might have an effect. But if we'll let you know as soon as we do know the dates for Goliath 2022. Fingers crossed it's back live. It will be the 10th anniversary live of Goliath, and I'm sure they'll put on some kind of show next year, that is for sure. So we'll be checking out all what's happening. Afternoon, Lenny. Are we enjoying his new buttons? All sorts going on down here. If I actually showed you what was on there, I can't lift it up too much. There's buttons and all sorts. Here, Tower, just press this. Just press that. What can go wrong? Everything. Everything already has. Yes, it's. We have things going on. We've got all sorts going on, but we'll get used to it. And I'm sure when you press a picture of a plate full of chips, eventually there'll be a chip count somewhere. So yeah. Scotty C, how you doing, Scotty? And did you enjoy the draft activities last week? How did you think your team got picked? How did you do? Do you rank yourself out of 1 to 12? Me and PK what number you are, but just type in what number you think your team is in the rankings of being drafted. Good to see you, Scotty, last weekend. Great weekend. It was. Yeah, there's a plate of chips on here, which I'm guessing will be a chip count eventually. There's a frying pan, which eventually will be a cardroom pan, is what I'm guessing. We've got a Kit Kat, which I'm guessing is a break. There's all sorts going on. They're trying to confuse me in all sorts. But no, it's really good. It's great, and we're going to be here. He comes. He's got the teas and everything. He's got the teas. Hey, half a cup.
Well, it's from the machines. It fills up the cup.
It's like watching East is East. Half a cup. Look at that. It's nearly empty. Oh dear. So we've talked about it for 20 minutes.
Have you?
Oh yeah. we've been running through the schedule for the 30-30s, and we've run through the chat. We are 15 minutes away from the live pictures, and hopefully the sound has been far. How far away is that kettle? Jay's been gone 25 minutes.
I went back to a hotel room to use the kettle in there.
Would have seen you tomorrow.
Yeah, it is a walk, ain't it? It is a walk.
Oh my days! If ever you request a room in the upstairs in the CBS, did you know now? It isn't the Coventry Building Society Stadium anymore. It's a CBS Arena.
There we go. Didn't we say that in Manchester?
We said that. We said,
must have been listening to the stream.
Why has it gone from a stadium to an arena? I don't know, but it has. It's now an arena. It's CBS Arena. It's now called, not the Rico. Richard Bellamauer says Belhumua. Sorry, Richard. Hello from Canada. Oh, which part of Canada would it be? I've been to Kitchener before.
I've never been Canada.
I've been to Toronto, and I've been to Kitchener, and I've been to Niagara Falls. And Niagara Falls has got a massive casino.
Has it?
Enormous. It's on about 73 floors. It's brilliant. Really nice. Ontario, that's where it goes really cold. Really cold. Hello from Canada. Good afternoon. Or good morning, because you'll be about 7 hours behind.
We all sorted with the audio now? We
think so. If I put this in my ear in half an hour's time and we start talking about you again on the 30, 25, 25 and the mini and all that, then we'll know. We'll know it's wrong. And then we'll rewind it again and just put it on play.
Oh, Scott's in the building, I see.
Right. Yeah, good morning. It has been, what is it, 6, 7 hours behind it in Canada? It'll be like 7 in the morning. Right, 7 in the morning. So yes, we've got the 30-30s coming up from Birmingham, London next week. There's plenty going on around the estate, and in 3 weeks' time we are in Leeds.
And a week after Leeds, we're straight in Edinburgh.
Straight to Edinburgh. There's a 30-30 in Blackpool on the same weekend as Edinburgh. Just one of those things. Edinburgh had to get changed because of the COVID restrictions. They changed it. They changed the restrictions back, and Scotland then got re-added into the system. So we can't wait to go up to Edinburgh, set up, and it'll just be a main event. I'm not too sure what the team are doing regarding satellites and if they put on their own side event, but it won't be part of the GUKPT festival. It's just a main event for Edinburgh. So just be aware that. It is just a main event, but I'm guessing there'll be plenty of satellites running for that. So, if I press this one, are you ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Ready? Oh, look at this! Oh, technology these days! GUKPT Coventry PLO 456. Somebody tried telling me a bad beat from a 600 Omaha last night.
Did they?
I walked away. I'm not listening to bad beat stories from Omaha. You can't have one.
You can.
I don't care. You can't. You tell me a bad beat. Go on. Tell me a bad beat in Omaha.
If you get it in with on an ace 10 6 board with aces, king, queen, jack, and they've just got bare pocket tens or something with rags, and they ping the one out on the river, no backdoor flush draws, and still pretty brutal.
I think that's how I went out in Ireland. I'm sure that's how my last tournament in Ireland went. We pinged a one outer. Anyway, good numbers yet again. 115 entries. The buy-in was £180. Price pool just over £20,000. Paul Williams, there he is on the left-hand side, looking good. What's his winning hand?
The old king, queen, jack, 6 deuce, 2 suits. It looks like, but he looks like he made. Oh no, 1 deuce. Yeah, no 6 deuce, and he made quads on the turn. On the 4 deuce.
6 queen, jack, king, 8 2. At what part is that not in the bin?
Heads up, Tower. He's heads up.
I don't care.
He's heads up. He's playing that hand heads up. It's perfectly fine.
Oh my days. 5,000 anyway. They chopped it. Him and Giovanni chopped it. Alan Vinicum came third. Alan's playing the main event today. Good to see him playing poker again. Maz Bako fourth. Sean O'Donnell, Steve Harrison, Carl Pickles cashed again. No picks. Can't play the main event. He's on a festival weekender.
He was on the rail for the mini picks away for the final table. Stayed to the old.
He
was on the rail watching it.
Good lad.
Because Luke, who won it, he had quite a lot of his friends behind him, railing him, giving him a lot of support with the dealers. He come over and went, "Come on, Joe, I'll get behind you." So it was good to have someone there.
Well done, picks. Ewan McNicholas, who was on the NPL. I'm guessing the NPL points count for the Omaha. Do they count?
Yeah. What the league points?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should do.
Well, Ewan McNicholas has got some more there because he finished 11th.
He must be right up there, Ewan. Obviously winning the London
We'll try and get
leg.
an updated list of the NPL. Whenever, if we get it over the weekend, we'll let you know what's happening with the NPL points. But Ewan McNicholas last time we saw was top of the leaderboard. So well done to him. Paul Fletcher, afternoon gents. Unfortunately, the White Lion pot washer, Mr. Chris Maguire, is still catching up from the bank holiday rush, so he's sitting out this one. Have a great tournament. Thank you very much. The White Lion were watching all the way through last event in Manchester. Good to have you on board. And we will surprise you one day. We will. Aye, aye. Yeah, you've already learned. Look at this. You're already pressing buttons quicker than me now. I know exactly what's happening on all sorts. What did you press then? Oh, the chat on. I like it. No, don't just point. Yes, we are getting back to live action in less than 10 minutes' time. We should be back and not listening to myself repeating things from 30 minutes ago, which is a blessing for everybody. Can't wait to be able to play poker again. It's still closed in Canada. Yeah, it's other countries, and while we're pretty blessed to have been gone back to normal. Quite obviously, you still see the pictures from Vegas, which is crazy busy. We're still not allowed to travel to Vegas directly from the United Kingdom. So another 6 months into 2022 and getting back to normal. I think we should be restriction free. But yeah, it has been tough. Some countries are better than other countries regarding COVID, and I know people are still getting pinged and whatever is happening, but the strain of it does seem to be nothing like it was when it first started. But obviously it was pretty serious. But double vaxxed and masks in Vegas. So C4, how was Bucharest? So he wouldn't play Manchester because it was too busy, and then flew to Bucharest to play poker.
It's a CFO for you. That's it.
But he did bring in the samosas.
Yeah, he did.
So you
and
have to be,
and donuts as well. Don't forget the donuts.
Oh yes, and that wedding you went to looked very good with the old. You'd have been eating like kings forever. Double vaxxed and masks in Vegas. Well, there you go. So that's the restrictions at this moment in time. It'll come in. You'll end up doing what they say just to be able to play a little bit of poker. Jay, share a bit of your hand-for-hand spin-up story from day 1C. Well, we did that a little bit earlier just before, but you did have 2 big blinds.
Yeah, 2 bigs, and just went on the spin. Got a bit unlucky one hand. Got it in good against someone. Had them covered just. They got lucky on the river. Thought that's it. We're left with 2 bigs. We'll get this in. We'll go to the bar, but got it in next hand. Somehow trebled up. And then the next hand after that, it was Riggy doubled me up with ace king against his ace 10. And then suddenly we had about 40k again, and we were just off. And it just didn't really look back from there. It was quite smooth sailing till the FT.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I like it. Richard on Facebook says casinos are open. There's still no poker rooms open just yet. Do you have craps tables in Canada? I think they do. I think that's the one thing that we miss in the United Kingdom is they've got rid of all the craps tables now. There's literally one in the United Kingdom now, unfortunately. It's just a great game. I think for the casino, for the industry, the staffing of the tables, the ROI on it and all that just means it's just not viable for a craps table. You need like 5 dedicated staff all the time on a craps table. We understand that, but it's a great game. We enjoy it. We can't wait to play when we go out to Vegas again next year for the leg 4 of GUKPT 2022. Apparently it's in the Bellagio. Oh, sorry, have I given away something? Have I said something I shouldn't have? That'd be great, wouldn't it? It would. That'd be good. But no, as we said, and I know you're laughing and joking about going to Italy and stuff like that, but we did do Belgium. We did Wales as well once. Did you? Yeah, we did Cardiff.
Oh yeah, obviously, of course.
Only once we did Cardiff.
No, I think it was about 4 times. And I actually think Cardiff was the last time a GUKPT overlaid. About 7 years ago. Mickey Spillane says, when a Live 2022 date's been released? I don't know, and I've not seen Jim yet. But as soon, I'm asking the question today if there's going to be any announcement this week, and if there is, you'll be first to know. The C4 played Cardiff. Yeah, Michael Greco was the first Cardiff winner, I do believe, back in the day. Oh, Macapac. It was you. It was me who got lucky against UJ and left you with two bigs.
And Macca was on the final table as well. I think he come 5th, so he was fairly short and ran it up as well. Which shows you, but
Yeah, playing well. Had some good results as Chris in the last few weeks. Keep it going, son. Guessing we'll see you in Coventry, seeing as though you're only about 10 minutes away.
cheers, Eddie. Eddie, the one push in the chat. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut eventually.
Is this Eddie who's played 3 GUKPTs in Casting
one of
Hall?
my good pals, very good pal from back home.
Yes. Nice one. So we are just about to get back to live poker. 4 minutes and counting for for the live events. But going back to the 30-30s, which one's that going to be on then? Is that going to be on the... Back to that one?
No.
We'll go back to that one. Shall we go back to the one? Let's go back to... It's not on them.
I don't think it's on there, Tower.
Don't look up there. Sorry. Sorry. Is it on the intro? No, that's Joe B, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just
We'll
guess.
get
just guess.
We'll get him used to
What?
it. Don't worry.
Still on
We'll
Yeah.
but take some time. But by the grand final, you'll know what we're up to, Tower, with the buttons.
Yeah, 4 months.
The only type of buttons sour knows are in that bowl in front of you.
Yeah, Igor came in and says, "They are treats for the team. Treats for the team." Love it. Yeah, Poker Room in London, Newcastle, Birmingham, and Berry New Road in Manchester, 8th until the 12th of September. So next weekend for the 30-30s.
God, there'll be a turnout in the Vic. I didn't actually realise there was one on at the Vic next week.
Yeah. So you got a choice between London and Birmingham.
Birmingham. I'll be at Birmingham.
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 What's Birmingham?
Birmingham. 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 Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah, so London, Newcastle, Birmingham, Berry New Road in Manchester for the 30-30s. And then the full schedule is still there for the rest of the year. I just can't find it on here. And I'm not pressing buttons because it might all go wrong. Might all go Pete.
We've not got long now till we're back with a featured table. Have some whole cards.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Hello. This is NASA. NASA calling. Yeah. We're going live in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes together. In 2 minutes to cut down. Feel it looks good. Razor Kev saying, how much do you owe him?
I'm a score, but I ain't seen him since. To be
Oh,
fair,
right.
I haven't been at
It's
home.
going to be double or quits.
Yeah, we'll do.
Eventually, you'll win one.
Yeah, we'll do double.
You know when
or
you get
quits,
to a
Kev.
million?
Yeah.
Double or you'll eventually get one. He's going to set the line later. Well, if you check the app, don't forget to check the app. You can always keep up to date on how many numbers are actually there in the room right now. We can always check. Go to the Poker Live app because it's always connected to the comms clock. And if you just click on where you want to go to in the area, it says Coventry, still says the Rico Arena. That needs updating, it's the CBS Arena now. And you go on to tournaments, right on there, day 1A, GUKPT, and it says 76 runners for day 1A. And people are saying, 76 runners is not a lot. But we all know you can buy in all day, all through the day, come in whenever you want to. There'll be plenty of people coming down for the satellite later. And Fridays is always busy for day
Friday,
1B,
and the
there's
turbo
the
as
turbo
well.
for day 1C, and then there's day 2 buy-ins. And by the end of it, it'll be another 500 plus.
Yeah, it will. It will.
So yeah, so don't worry about the numbers at this moment in time, but there's plenty going on. We're counting down. Shall we do the New Year's Eve countdown styling?
yeah.
10, 9. Which one do I press?
That one. This one. All right. Hopefully, we should be.
Albert's still in. Can't believe it. Absolutely amazing. Albert is still in. Thanks, Albert. He's not been eliminated. We are back with the... Well, we come back to the table. We've got aces
Yeah,
again.
for Harvey in seat 1. Makes it 1.2. And
Albert's folded 8-9.
yeah, it was a free bet from the small. If we're actually here, especially against smallish size in 3x, sometimes can set off some alarm bells, but definitely want to be peeling this hand in position. And we do catch top pair here, so could potentially lose some chips in this pot. Not going to be going anywhere facing this continue from Harvey. Harvey, we've still got plenty of hands we're still ahead of. King of Hearts on the turn. Shouldn't really change much from Harvey's perspective. Shouldn't really be too much King X that Ashley has on 10-8-3 other than the King 10 suited. Only 2 combos of that, so I want to continue betting here. Trying to get some value from 1 pair holdings. And Ashley in a bit of a spot now. This King not a good card for us. Harvey did have the worst hand on the flop. This King's going to connect with him a lot of the time, but good pass from Ashley there with second pair, didn't get sticky and makes the correct laydown. And Harvey takes that one with aces. We've got Natalie coming to the table in seat 2.
Here she is, Natalie Bromley. Was on the feature in Manchester as well.
Played with her quite a bit in the mini. She was on my table day 2. And, she had, I think she cashed. She had quite a lot of chips before the table broke, but seemed like a lovely girl. Seemed like she could play a bit as well. Lives in Blackpool, I believe, near you, Tower. Is that right?
Lytham St Anne's, yes, she lives in Lytham. Which is
that the posh part of Blackpool?
That's Upper Blackpool.
Ah, Upper Blackpool.
Upper Blackpool.
So I've got John opening pocket 9s and Jack and a cut-off. The ace-jack suited, Alexa free bet, perfectly fine, can go either way. And Albert coming in with the old cold call out the small with the ace-9 off, and John with 9's not going to be going anywhere, so he'll make the call. We're going 3-way.
Here's Queen 8, 2 clubs.
The ace-jack jumps out into the lead. Albert possibly could be doing some chips in this pot. Because Albert's not going to be folding once he makes top pair. I think he'll pay off at least 2 streets of value here from Jack, who's flopped top 2.
Knock it down, just hits on the turn.
Okay, the burn card guy's just picked up here on the flop. Flop's actually ace queen 8 and it's a jack on the turn, so Jack's actually turned top 2 here. Albert's all in and it's going to be curtains for Albert.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure why Jack's tanking here.
No idea.
Against Albert.
Go on, Jack, get him in.
Especially against Albert as well.
Yeah,
it's ace queen jack 8 the board guy.
Albert's going to say, what are you waiting for when he sees him going in the middle? He's going to say, what are you waiting for? Where's the slow roll? So I'm guessing we can hit a 10 then.
Ace queen jack 8, yeah.
Or the king for the straight.
Oh, he's got ace
10.
He's got ace 10.
Sorry about that, guys.
That makes a bit more sense.
Yeah,
Albert having a double gutter with his top pair, why he's got it in there.
That'll be a new deck. Whatever happened there. Apologies around that. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why that came up as ace 9. It's never normally wrong. There we go. Instantly changed the deck, does Dave. and you could see on the graphics he knew that something had gone awry with the card. There's Dave, looking svelte old Dave. So he instantly knew something was wrong when Albert got eliminated, but wasn't eliminated. Changed instantly. Well done, Dave. Dave.
Don't forget that one.
Yeah, level 2 of the day. 100, 100, 100. Hour clock, plenty of time.
Yeah, he wasn't because
Always a slow start to a day one for a GUKPT. Unless you get some superstar table, then it just goes crazy. But
That's what put these on to see it from the right. It's the pink that gets the red. Yeah, it's a bit difficult there.
Afternoon, Harvey. Harvey now is sat in seat number 1. He's got the headphones in, he might be watching the live stream on this. Yeah. So if he is, Harvey, give us a wave.
yeah, in half hour we just see him like.
Harvey,
I'm not
give
entirely
us a
sure my
wave.
memory's that good that I remember what the hell I bet, so we're all good.
Seafor says he was on a catamaran this time last week. This time 12 hours ago I was in bed. What's that going to be? Great catamarans. They're absolutely brilliant. You can see underneath, you can see all the wildlife underneath, and you just think you're going to, oh my word. Love them. Good luck to Harvey Norris, says Andy Ford, watching on Facebook. Afternoon, Andy. Tristan says, good luck, Bronners. Sat in seat number 2, and nice score, Jay, in the Mini.
Thanks, Tristan.
If you think you know Natalie and you know the face, she does podcasts for Burnley Football Club,
Oh, does she really?
and she gets on Match of the Day every week.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's an absolute Burnley nut.
Oh, okay. I never
If
knew
you
that.
want to talk football, she's the person. She's knowledge. Oh, out the window. Yeah, she does podcasts for BBC and for different programmes. She's a complete Burnley nut. Let me down on my Towers treble week 1. We're not in it again.
Don't remind me.
Yeah.
I'm quite pleased when I saw that this leg was during the international break.
Don't worry, there'll be a League 1 and League 2 Towers treble on Saturday night.
So Jack makes it 4x with the King 9. And Albert Suitor Gapper comes in the cut-off. Martin's in with a raggy ace, and both blinds get out of the way. Jack, although he has 4k, he's still got 40 bigs. Plenty of time to find a good spot to potentially double up. Maybe just a bit on the loose side here off of this stack size. Early stages.
And have you noticed in the early stages we've got a full ring?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, that's a first.
I want 400 as well.
We have indeed. John Perkins watching in Cyprus. Oi, oi. Afternoon, John. I hope Cyprus is scorching hot for you. Usually is at this time of year. I've never been Cyprus. I've been Greece, I've been Turkey, but I've never been Cyprus.
This is going to get Jack in a bit of trouble. Martin flopping trips and Jack with top pair. On the King 4-4 Rainbow freeway, it's a very good spot to check as Jack here. It's one of them spots where you're either miles behind or miles ahead. A lot of merit to check in, but does decide to come in for the bet. But I think on this, I know he's just gone all in. He's been snap called and sees the bad news.
And yeah, phone's away. He's drawing pretty thin. Albert got there in the river, but unfortunately not this time as we lose Jack in seat number 9. Adam Kelly says, why did they do away the 2550 and 5100 levels? Apart from not having the 25 chips in play, the new structures with the 1-1 and the 1-1 with the big blind ante coming straight into play on level 2. I don't know if it makes a difference to players turning up earlier, but it seems to have.
Yeah, well, the ante comes in play level 2 now. It used to be level 4, I think, or 5 maybe after the dinner break.
That's
and
right.
A lot of people prefer to play with an ante in place, and it's just to do with the chipping up as well. It saves a bit of time, it makes it a bit easier. I don't want all these 25 chips flying about.
Yeah, and it doesn't make a difference to the levels because we still finish exactly the same at the end of level 10. There's no increase later in the day, so it's not it doesn't get too steep to play in level 10. So we finish at the same level. So it's just the early stages with getting rid of the 25 chips, and it just makes it a little bit easy for everybody. And that seemed to be the way everybody seemed to go, starting at 1-1. And GUKPT did exactly that.
It's really nice here from Ashley with his wheel draw overcard, blind on blind, ranges very wide. Decides to raise in this particular spot. Just have a wide variety of hands, but looks like that's a white flag weight. Although it was checked to him, he may choose to bluff this river. But John going to come in for a bet of 500 here. And this looks really weak from John, 6th pot. And actually not thinking about calling here, it's either fold or raise, and does choose to fold. John did have the best hand. May have thought he was bluffing.
The Jam K75 says, hello from Glasgow. Good afternoon. What's the time in Glasgow?
Same time, ain't it?
And Tom Yates on Facebook says, congrats Jay on your result in the mini.
Thanks, Tom. Might get a decent score more often. This is nice, everyone's saying that.
GUKPT. GUKPT
There's
Coventry.
next week, Boovie. There's next week.
Season 6 was the last time GUKPT was in Coventry. 2012, a full 9 years ago, when Martin Frey won the title. And Martin Frey, unfortunately, this year was the first
one
out.
out. Yeah, first out.
Yeah, last winner, first out. Voto says it's midnight in Ireland. So wherever you're watching, we've got Greece, we've got Cyprus, we've got Italy watching, we've got Canada watching. Plenty watching from all over the country and all over the world. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. Glad you're tuning in, guys. It is GUKPT week and we are back in Coventry.
17-7.
Martin in 4 with the force. Race the 400. Vernon finds the ladies in the small blind. Doesn't choose to free bet, but Harvey now with the 10s. Looks like he's just going to call as well. So surprised Vernon didn't free bet out the small blind, but we are obviously early stages. We're very deep. Maybe just playing a bit more passively, a bit more small ball. Doesn't want to get involved in a big pot out of position perhaps, but I think more often than not we want to be free betting the queens. Martin, after this ace comes on the turn, he's actually going to get 2 better hands to fold, because as being the pre-flop opener here, this card should smash his range, and both players are aware of that, so get out of the way. And takes it with the worst hand.
Oi, Buzz. Ian Bosley, what time is late reg? Late reg is open all day. Yeah. Whatever time you get here, you can sit down and play straight away. And you can also buy into the start of day 2 as well. So whatever time you make it up to Coventry, Buzz, or across to Coventry, or down to Coventry. And late reg is open all day long. Get here, your chips on. Obviously, you start with 20k. And we'll just whatever the blinds are when you get here. We've got Seattle watching from around the corner, and Luke Sampson's watching in Coventry.
So we've got 4-way action here after Natalie squeezed with the 7s after 3 limps in front of her, and no surrender from anyone. Going 4-way. Queen 10, 5, 2 hearts, so Vernon flopping the best of it. And Natalie choosing to continue into 3 players. Albert with bottom pair, backdoor nut flush draw, not going to be going anywhere. And Vernon just gets out of the way with a Queen 8. We saw Vernon just flat the queens earlier and just check folds top pair then. Maybe playing a little bit too tight. Albert now going to fire with the worst of it. With Natalie here, it's hard to see what we actually beat. I know we're ahead of Albert in this scenario, but probably want to be folding this particular spot against Albert here. The hearts get on the turn. The hands that would beat are like the King Jacks and the Jack 9 suited, but other than that, from Natalie's perspective, there's not too much that we beat, but she's going to call. Do have the 7 of hearts as a bit of insurance, and it was fairly small sizing from Albert. Chose to go 3rd pot, and if I'm Albert here, I'm going to be firing again, but I'm not sure if he will. He will go for it. But a 3.5, and a tough spot here for Natalie. Literally, we beat a stone cold bluff. Got to come up with some bluffs that Albert can have. What hands is Albert calling flop with here that we are still ahead of? It's only really the King Jacks, the Jack 9s. You think hearts get there? Obviously, if he does have a hand like he has in this scenario, like a pair with a backdoor nut flush draw. I'd be really impressed if she finds the call here, Tower. I don't think I'd find the call in this spot.
Do you think I've got it?
Maybe against Albert, she may talk herself into a call. But always important when we are calling that turn bet, thinking already about what we're going to do on brick rivers, facing a bet. Always good to look streets ahead. Very tough call to make this. We are getting just under 3-1 on our money, but it all comes down to what hands we're actually ahead of, and it's only a few combos of the missed straight draws, but she's reached for chips and she's played it off, and Albert shows the 5 and the 7s of Natalie. Take the pot, nice little pot to take there. 70 big blind pot early in the day, puts her straight up to 27k. Very nice call.
Wait for the bluff for the 5. That was it. Carl Harwood on Facebook watching live here at the BBC Wales's office. We shan't tell nobody. Hope you're enjoying the live stream. Pictures live from Coventry. The old Rico Arena is now called the CBS Arena. Not much going on in the news office today, BBC. In the BBC Wales office. What's happening? What's headline news, Col? Come on, give us an insight. What's headline news on this Thursday afternoon? Saw New York was flooded last night because of that storm Ida, but completely devastated Louisiana again. We travelled up the east coast and got New York.
Really?
Yeah, underwater. Queen 10-4, ladies flop, checked, check. 3 of hearts, the turn. Yeah, check's good. They're all checking, man.
Albert River in 2 pair, coming in for a little bit of value. John with just ace high makes the fold. Vernon will do the same, and unaware of Natalie's holding, but looks like she's getting out of the way, and Albert going to take that one. River in the 2 pair goes for a bit of value.
Albert's involved in another hand that we'd always expect.
Little 8-6 for him. Inconspicuous double gutter on this board. But, looks like it's bricked out for him. Jack 10. Going to take this one. And there's the stacks from Natalie, our chip leader at the table. Only just joined us last 15-20 minutes. She's been sat down. Played 1 pot, nice little pot, made a nice call.
Marianne de Mutrash says, when do we change the table? Every single break, every 2 levels, there's a 15-minute break. There's a longer break for the dinner break. Not sure when that is at this moment in time. It was end of level 5 last time, it was end of level 6 sometimes, it's either end of level... We'll find out.
I reckon it'll be end of level 4.
Yeah, we'll
today.
confirm that. But we change the table at every break. So
Yeah,
when the guy's going to break in a 15-minute or a 60-minute dinner break, then we have new players coming in to start the next session.
30 minutes till this session ends, so...
Yeah, so they're on for 2 hours, and then change tables at the breaks. That is when we will have a new table at the start of level number 3 of the day.
So John opening, under the gun, 10-9 suited. Kevin choosing the 3-bet the King-Queen, perfectly fine, only maybe needs to go a bit larger with sizing in this spot. Just a little bit more than a min click. John makes the call and actually turns it up and down here. Comes in for about 1,000, and this is the reason we check back flop as Kevin. We've got middle pair. No, whoa. Very, very tight fold there on the turn. Comes ace, king, jack. We've got a gutter, we've got second pair. We check it back so we can call a turn lead, but in this case, just thought better of it. And the 10 high takes the pot. In those scenarios where you do check back, because you do have a bit of showdown with position, except if the sizing is fairly huge, you usually always want to be calling at least once with position. Thought better of it. Getting involved again, this time with the 8-6 of clubs and Harvey ace-queen suited here. Chooses the 3-bet to 1k. Size I like to see, just over the 3x mark with position. And Kevin not going to be going anywhere from the looks of things. Wants to see a flop out of position with the 8-6 suited.
Ace King King.
And this should be a good check spot here for Harvey. I wouldn't mind. I'd like to see him check this one back tower. It's one of them situations where you're either well in front or well behind in this spot. If your opponent's got a king, we've got 2 outs. If they haven't, we can induce bluffs on later streets, and then we can also have a bit of deception in there as well, because maybe less likely they put us on an ace after we check back the flop. So never get any action from the 8-6, but really like the check on the flop there from Harvey on the Ace King King.
Back to the PLO results. I'm just pressing buttons, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
Tao's having a
We're
little fiddle with the buttons down
We're
here.
just fiddling with buttons. We'll try and get all the results up from all the events this week during the course of the day, but we are learning to press buttons. Oh yes.
The thing is, it's not even that difficult. They've all got a picture on telling us what they do. And
Yeah, but
it's
it
like-
just says VT, but I don't know what the VT is actually
the
underneath
VT
it.
at the moment is just the results at the moment, I
Yeah.
believe.
So back to the
believe.
table.
Natalie with the ace queen raises to 300, and Albert likes to play a wide variety of hands, king deuce included in that. Going to call in the hijack, and both blinds coming along.
King Queen 7.
So Albert flops the best of it. Looks like Natalie's going to choose to continue here for a second pair top kicker. Albert not going anywhere after flopping top pair. Even John's going to come along here. He was getting a 5 to 1 on his money.
Oh, Natalie! Natalie!
This is actually lovely from Natalie.
What if she checks now?
Oh, she does.
She does just.
She does. I'm really surprised she checked that tower, especially because King Queen 7. You expect the opener to check back a lot of their Queen X on the flop, so maybe it's hard for an opponent to give us credit for a queen. So I'm actually really surprised she didn't come in for the second street there. Start building the pot.
She's got to raise. This should go full fold, but Albert's involved, so.
Raised to 2.2 makes it really small, and if we're Albert here, I know he still may call tower because it's Albert, but we just can't call here with king deuce. Yeah, it's just once Natalie raises here, we only beat a bluff, and is she really going to bluff raise that size, giving an opponent that price? It's just never going to be the case. But Albert with top pair, not a fan of letting it go, and pays that one off. And Natalie flying out the traps up to 32k. Kev, yep, you're on. I'll have the overs, please. He set the line at a 256k prize pool. I will have the overs, please, Kev.
What? You're setting the line at a £256,000 prize pool. Can I go a pound every pound over? Yeah, I'll have a pound every pound over, please, Kev. And then that's the tower talking.
So limp under the gun, 10-7 suited. Albert going to follow suit with a king 7 in a low jack, and Gary with the boots. Makes it 500. And action on Kevin. Wow, is he really coming in for the... Actually, if we're limping under the gun, and this is one of the things you do need to incorporate, some like limp raise bluffs in that range. You can't just have your aces, your kings, your ace king hands like that, because the better opponents will just figure it out and be able to overfold in certain spots. But the great thing is, if he does have hands like this in there and everyone's aware of it, then just had to fold to the 4-bet though from Gary. Could have potentially flatted there as Gary. You know how much of a big advocate I am, guys, of playing your monsters in position against 3 or 4 bets, just flatting, keeping your range wide. make sure you can have them monsters in there. But in this scenario, just chose the 4-bet. Probably because you don't expect anyone to really have limp raise bluffs after limping under the gun and coming in for the back raise. Not too many people, a small percentage. Obviously Kevin, one of them, will have bluffs in there, but most of the time people are just going to have monsters, and probably the reason Gary chose the 4-bet there. He wants to just try and get more action from ace king, kings, queens. Aces followed by jacks, and makes it 300, and Kevin going to defend the 7-6. A7-4 rainbow, and from a range perspective this is going to be a lot better for us as Gary as the opener. After catching a piece here, Kevin going to have to call once, and does make the call. Deuce of hearts on the turn, and with Gary here now, I think he should be checking this one back, because even out the big blind can still have some ace-x in there. Obviously there's some straight draws, 7x, 4x as well. That just goes check, no need to bet jacks for values there. Not really getting called by much worse.
I'm just checking these things.
See what they do.
What is it? Oh, shit, it's 42. It's all up there, eh? So Kev has set his line at 371 runners. But don't forget, it's not 680 pounds, it's 670 plus 80. So I don't know if that makes a difference to your line. So Jay's already on the case. Look at this. See that? The guy's a ledge.
I got in early to set up the commands. That was it.
Yeah, 670 plus 80. Pretty standard.
Wow, Gary had aces,
He's now got the king.
then jacks, then kings in 3 hands. Aces, jacks, kings. Little.
Not the best flop, to be fair, but shouldn't be worried about Albert's 2 cards. He could have queen deuce, we know that, but
That's just getting worse and worse for the kings from his perspective. I know
it's
he
going to
has
be the
the best
smallest
hand.
pot with kings ever.
Yeah, Albert with all these overs to his 8, so I can't see how he's going to put any more money in this pot.
It's Albert.
I know. I know it's Albert, so I forget that. I do
And
forget
it'll be
that.
check the river.
Unless it's a king or an 8, or a 10. But yeah, check, and the kings are good. Albert shows him the 8s, says nice hand. Now Gary, aces, kings and jacks in your last 3 hands.
Nice.
It's got 20 minutes left, everybody. This session, first session of day 1-8 here in Coventry. As always, when we are back after the break, there will be some fresh faces on the feature table.
So I went to, I was really worried about this morning. I went to a park
So
yesterday.
9-5 suited, Albert opts to limp, Martin
I was like, this doesn't look like it at all.
makes it 400, John's in with the ace jack and the low jack. Kevin, from what I've seen from him so far, don't expect him to fold this on the button, makes the call. Natalie got an easy defend here in the big blind. And that's going to bring Albert along, 5-way action.
Yeah, it's like my throat's really dry. Because I was literally like screaming out monster roller coasters all day.
King 8, rainbow. Kevin flops the best of it here. This one checks through.
Check.
5 on the turn, so Kevin's still with the best hand. And if this checks us again here is Kevin, like to see him come in for a bet. Doesn't need to go too big here. We're betting here basically for the fact of equity denial to all the overcards. Don't want to give them a free one, let them realise that equity. But Albert going to make the call with the 5. And John's in with the ace-jack, the old overcall with the ace-high here. The 4 on the river, and I'd be very surprised however this didn't check through. And nice little play there from Kevin on the turn. Got value from 2 worse hands.
Are you going to allow Kev to
Yeah,
set a
go
new
on,
line?
Kev, have a new line. Choose another number.
It's Christmas Day for Kev.
Yeah, it's fine. Just let me know, Kev, how many runners you think, and we'll just do it on that, regardless of prize pool, because some comes out for the National League anyway.
We're feeling good to get on this Thursday afternoon. We'll let you set another line.
Thanks very much. See you later.
You say it like it's your money at stake, Tower.
Well, I don't mind giving anybody else's money away. You see.
Huh?
All right. What's you listening to?
Well, succession mini yes from yesterday to the mini right of everyone's top line. Just sitting on the table. I was like, oh,
Martin, King Jack under the gun, old school, just lets it go, perfectly fine. These early stages, some people, most people in fact I should say, would probably open that, but it's perfectly fine to fold as well. Later stages in the tournament, you want to lean more towards the fold. Gary with the deuces has that raised it up to 300. Natalie Queen 5 suited here in the small blind. A little bit different scenario from when the big blind is double the small blind. Small blind and big blind both the same here. But Natalie getting fruity with the old Queen 5 suited. And Albert calls with the ace queen. And if we are, Gary here, want to be peeling this in position, as I always say, when we are this deep, when we do make our set, we can potentially win a very big pot. And when we don't, we just have an easy fold. Free weight.
10-7 ace.
And yeah, if we're Natalie here, after free betting this hand, backdoor diamonds, backdoor Broadway in there, I'd like to see it continue. I know it's not going to work. Albert's got ace queen, he's not going to be going anywhere. But size is good as well. Third pot, don't need to go no more than that. But,
Minute 2500 and that'll be the end of it.
Going to have an easy fold now. Tried to make a play, didn't work on this scenario, but it's really good to see. She can mix it up.
Andy just went to me, shh, like that. So I'm guessing that we.
From November 2020.
He opened 16-2.
Cut. Yeah.
Yeah, but things we talked about that, they get there, you know what I mean?
Race for
You got a little bit off. That's how I play this.
All right.
That was easy.
Bomb.
That's Matt Davenport, who finished second the last time we played a GUKPT in Coventry.
Did he really?
I feel like Martin McFly's in the building. Oh, wowzers. It turned into an episode of The Office. Oh, brilliant. Thanks for that, guys. That's a great pan.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
It's good to see the outer tables, what's going on, some
Yeah.
faces in the field.
Already. Early stages of GKP. So are you taking the unders or overs on Kev's new line of 370?
It's got to be overs. You know what?
Yeah.
I can't see this tournament getting anything less than 400, even less than 500. Just the turnout we've had already this week.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players that played the mini will be playing the main as well. I'd just be very surprised if it's that low.
Yeah, the last time GKPT was in Coventry, £122,000 in the prize pool. Martin Fay first, Matthew Davenport second, and Lee French was third.
Lee French.
Yeah. Did Lee French win a Goliath?
No,
Lee French won the event where you won. Not event that you won, but
he chopped the 30
Yeah.
in Manchester for 34k, I believe.
he did. Lee French. He did indeed chop the latest 30-30 in Manchester. £34,000. He's had some decent results. Lee French. Guessing he's local to Coventry, seeing as all his...
Yeah, he's a Coventry lad, late.
Won the 25-50 at Goliath. That's where I remember the name from Goliath. In 2017, won the 25-50 that he had there for £25,000.
So Albert peeling the free bet with a king 7 off. Martin with the best of it. Gets out flopped here though on the queen 4-6. Going to have to call once here as Martin. I know there's one overcard to our jacks, but can't just instantly give our opponent credit for a queen. Have to call once, see what happens on the turn. But once checked us again here as John comes in for his second barrel and gets 6-1 here. 6.5 to 1 as Martin doesn't even stick another penny in. May have been a bit. May have just called once there. I know it's a great fold, we can see, but getting 6.5 to 1 not money with the jacks. Just call, hope River checks back, gets a showdown. But made it very, very tight. But good fold.
Michael Ritchie, good afternoon. I'm watching on Facebook. Hope everybody is well in Facebook land. Don't forget we can watch on Twitch, YouTube, GKPT.com, Facebook. Absolutely, anyway, loads of places to watch us. A lot of people do prefer Twitch, but we do have a chat box open from everywhere, so if you do want to chat, send in the questions and we will answer them when we can, and if we can.
You need to get me one of these. Program analysts is feeding me information. Good plan.
Talbot in with a limp with the ace-4. And it with Gary here, want to be squeezing this out the small blind, ace-9 suited, limp from cut-off and button, not showing too much strength. Want to try and thin the field down at least, try and get heads up or three-way. At this table, that's not going to be the case. Somehow managed to get John to come along in the big blind with the jack deuce, and Albert and Martin both in. Gary with the best of it at the moment. Queen 3-3 Rainbow. No one actually connecting here. The ace-9 of Gary still the best hand and continues here on the dry pair board. Albert with ace-high is going to call once. And in a normal scenario here, once we get called once as Gary, you're probably just going to shut down a lot of the time. Queen 3-3, hands that opponent's going to be calling you with, it's Queen X3, X or like pocket pairs a lot of the time. Obviously Albert's got a different type of hand in there, and Gary goes to the second barrel. And it does get the job done. But nearly at the end of the first session, we have got 8 minutes before we'll head out on the first break of the day.
Do you want to press a button?
Yeah.
Do you?
Can I do it?
What shall we press? What's that one?
Lucky dip. See what happens. Just press and see what happens.
We're on it, we've got it. Me and him, we're here for the next 4 days. We are live from Coventry. Last GUKPT Coventry was 2012, and that was Martin Frey being victorious over Matt Davenport. And then Goliath just completely took over, got longer and longer and bigger and bigger. And so it is good to be back in the Rico Arena, or the CBS Arena as it is now. The transformation will change place. Everybody still calls it the Rico, they always do. It's like the Vic and the Poker Room, and you know.
What are they going to do about all the signs pointing it here to the Rico Arena when you're driving through Coventry?
Yeah, they've not changed any signs whatsoever when you get off the motorway. So they've changed all the buildings. So the CBS Arena, it is. So if we mention the CBS Arena, it's because this is. It's like a pair of kids at Christmas with all these buttons.
It is.
It is, honestly.
Albert flops 2 pair here. Going to be hard to get any action at all.
The Black Flash is there. Paul GUKPT. How are you doing, Paul? Going to see you in Edinburgh in a month's time. Can't wait to see you.
GBSK 1980 asks about electronic equipment on the featured table, if it's allowed. You're not allowed to watch the live stream while you're on the featured, but obviously if you can listen to your music, you see Harvey with his earphones in there in track 1. But, yeah, it's just no watching the live stream while you're on the featured. If you want to have your earphones in, listen to a bit of music, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Going back to the thing with that Mike Postle fellow, that was an inside job for a start, and he was sat in the same seat for 10 hours. 5 days a week for 6 months. This is a tournament where we change tables every 2 levels. You're not sat in the same seat, you won't have the same dealer, there's no inside jobs going on. It's just completely different. And electronic devices, we know the dealer's got headphones on because obviously he's connected to the action tracker, but if you want to listen to a bit of music you can. You just can't watch the live stream while you're on the table. And if you want to tell everybody that on social media that you're involved in the GKPT and that you're on the feature table, then so be it. It's just one of those things. So it is totally different with the incident that happened.
Chiesa says, if you're not allowed to watch it, why is there a 30-minute delay? Well, friends, family watching at home, if it was all live, you can get a text message, anything for information. But always a 30-minute delay here. Me and Tao commentating live on delay, so we can interact with everyone in the chat boxes.
That's right. If you're not allowed to watch it anyway, why is it on a 30-minute delay? You can still receive a text message. Security reasons state that the live stream will always be on a 30-minute delay.
So Martin pulling out the float here in position versus Albert. Got some very nice backdoor possibilities as well as 2 overcards and position. Bingo.
Bingo, Kajingo. the Queen of Clubs.
Now he's just going to set Albert all in, and Albert here with third pair. Actually got unlucky on this turn, but was in a 3-bet pot with the A7 off. Only going to get herself in a bit of trouble with that sort of holding in that scenario. But does make a quick fold on the turn.
GBSK 1980 says, will Goliath be back at the Rico next year and will guarantee be as massive as it used to be? Yes, it will be back at the CBS Arena, stroke Rico Arena. Finalised dates to be confirmed soon, hopefully this week. If not, then it'll be on social media as soon as they finalise the dates regarding no setbacks regarding any untoward world anomalies. And B, would you play the Goliath if there was no guarantee?
Yeah.
Well, there you go then. So
Still
why does there need to be a guarantee on? They probably will stick a guarantee on, but considering every single year has increased in numbers, and by the time next year comes around, which is round about this time next year, and no going backwards regarding pandemics or anything else, we should hit the 10,000 mark. But if there was no guarantee on, would you still play the Goliath? And I think 99% would say yes.
I think everyone would. So we've got Jack 5 Deuce Rainbow here, middle pair for Albert. Natalie also with middle pair, some very nice backdoors for her as well. And Martin with top pair, top kicker. So everyone with a little piece here. Not sure what Kevin's holding is. It looks like Martin counting out what looks to be raisin chips.
He's raised it up to 2.1. Natalie has a piece.
Quite an awkward scenario because Martin just flatted pre here, and don't expect players to be raising top pair too often. We do have top pair, top kicker here though. Maybe went for it against that sizing, was a fairly small sizing versus Natalie's, just thought he had the best hand. There's a 9 of diamonds, rolls off on the turn, and there's the all in, and Albert once again having to fold to the turn shove.
GBSK says he travels from Ireland, so the guarantee is a factor, and he'd travel if the guarantee was 100,000. Well, all right, and I'll put 250,000 guarantee on it.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll tell you what, we'll do a quarter of me a week.
And if you don't get the guarantee next year of 250,000, I'll pay it out of my own pocket. How's that, GBSK? Yeah, it was obviously building momentum to being a 10,000 player event the following year, but obviously with what's just happened for the last 2 years regarding COVID and restrictions around the world, impossible to run. But it is the greatest tournament outside of Vegas. Yeah, GBSK played Goliath for 3 years. It's a fantastic event, it really is, and we do miss it. Online have picked it up. They've smashed the guarantee again this year. £277,000 I think was the price pool for Goliath this year. Somebody walked away with just over 50,000. And if we go back live, I'm guessing that there will be some kind of 10,000 tokens of number of runners, but we'll come back to that as we're just watching Albert. No action for Albert.
Yeah, limp jam the Queens. Nice to see actually he's aware that people know he's been limping a lot of the tables, so incorporated a limp in with a strong hand as well. It's good to see that he's aware of that.
Yeah, there's some great staff come over from Ireland. Obviously that's one of the big factors in not having a live Goliath this year. The freelance dealers, all the floor staff that travel from around the world to make it the event it is. Nigh on impossible to run without the staff. So this could be the last hand, and then we'll have to try and think about a button to press.
Should we put us on for the last hand?
Put us on for the last hand. Are you sure it's the last hand?
Oh, last couple of hands.
Go on then.
We've got a minute or two. There we are.
We've got a button to press. Would you like us to press buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11? Give me a choice. Yeah, I think obviously we all know about the alternate queue on the Friday for Goliath. It always happens. We tell everybody to buy in early. It always sells out. There is no other way to get the alternates in because you have to be in the building to be an alternate, and that's just the only unfortunate part of Goliath is the queue to play your final bullets of the biggest event. And if there was another way around it, I'm sure they'd do it. But unfortunately, that's just the bad side of it. Or don't queue. Make sure you make sure you get through your first bullet.
So this is the last hand. Albert with bottom pair going to bet. Actually with middle pair here, Vernon up down. So 3 players with a piece. You expect Harvey to get out of the way. 9 of diamonds would be an interesting turn. But last hand, and then we'll be on a 15-minute break. New table when we come back.
Yeah, then we've got nobody's told us what number button to pick. Is a number, guys. 1 to 10.
Guess which button you're
I know. Oh, I know. I think I know. We'll soon let you know. Mick the Mod says number 7.
Oh, there it is. Straight flush on the river.
Straight flush, ladies and gentlemen. Come on,
Straight
baby.
flush.
Nicely. Go on, son. We'll all see at the top end of the straight. Yeah. Vernon's got. He's got the nut straight.
It's Vernon going to struggle to fold this one here.
Yeah, he is, even though it's a paired board.
And
Albert
get
out of the way.
And that's that.
Just the straight flush to finish with.
That's good. That is good.
Ending to the to the session. Right, we'll see you in 15 minutes.
See you in 15.
I'm going to press this button. So back for part 2 of an hour with the tower with the legend that is Mr. Joe Beavers. We touched on you starting to travel around a little bit, Joe. Your next venture, which seems like an amazing place to play, and there has to be 100 stories. Amsterdam. Please tell me there's some stories we can't hear as well as some that we can.
You're just freezing up a little bit there, Phil. I hope you're all right, pal. I kind of got the gist of the question.
Yeah, all good.
Okay. You have to remember, in the mid to late 90s, there was like a tour.
Yeah.
It's not like it is now, where on any given day you could go to one of 20 different festivals and there's lots of clashes and lots of competition. It was the same places. So every Easter would be the Irish Open. Every November would be the Master Classics in Amsterdam. Every May to June, July would be the World Series, and every literally each month we would go somewhere else, and I would travel around with Barney, Ross, and Ram. And the biggest festival of all, out in Europe, the biggest festival outside of America, outside of the World Series, was the MCOP, the Master Classics of Poker in Amsterdam. And it started, I think, in the early 90s, and we went 10 years in a row, 12 years in a row to the Master Classics, the 4 of us.
Nice.
Amazing place to play. The first year I ever went was 97. Mm-hmm. And I was sharing a flat in Hendon with a couple of friends of mine from university. And I won my first major tournament at the Master Classics of Poker in 1997. And I can remember, I must have borrowed I don't know if I had a mobile phone there or not, but I remember making a phone call to my flatmate at 3 o'clock in the morning, singing "We Are the Champions" down the phone, and I was very drunk. I remember doing that. But it was, it was the festival that everybody went to. I mean, now there's so much competition. It's still a great festival, but I haven't been for a few years.
Yeah. Well, same as Las Vegas, you had 190 runners in that event. 190 in that event. 190 in this one. So you beat 10 more people.
Brilliant. I can't tell you if they were women or not, though. Oh, do you know what? Do you know the amazing thing? I beat a woman heads up.
You did.
I did.
And I've got that. I look at the stats. And it's not that I've remembered it all. I've got my stats in front of me. I'm doing my homework.
Brenda Nelson.
Correct. Brenda Nelson.
Beat her heads up. An American lady. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
taller than me.
and talking about stories. You say you were travelling about, and obviously stories that we can hear. How did you get to meet Ram as well as Ross?
I met Ram. I was driving around North London. I was actually in Stanmore with a friend of mine, Jeff, and this is pre-mobile phones. So we're driving along, and he says, "Oh, Joe, we've got to back a dog." So I said, "Is it going to win?" He said, "Yes, Joe, it's going to win." He said, "Listen," he said, "there's an AR Dennis betting shop up here on the left." He said, "And there's a phone box outside, one of the old red big metal phone boxes."
Yeah.
Now, what I want you to do, he said, he pulls up next to the phone box, which is immediately outside the betting shop. He says, "I want you to go and stand in that phone box." I said, "Okay." He said, "Here's £100." He said, he said, "Just stand in the phone box." He said, "It will ring. When it rings, you'll be given the name of a dog to back at this meeting at this time." He said, "Take the £100, go in and take the price, and then collect the money afterwards, and I'll pick you up afterwards."
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay." So I stood in the phone box, and the phone rings, and I pick it up, and he says, "12:45 Monmore, trap 3, and puts the phone down. So I go in the shop and I look up, and trap 3, it's opened even money.
Yeah.
It's gone 10 to 11, 4 to 5, 8 to 11, 4 to 6. It's now 8 to 13.
The money's on it.
It's now 8 to 13. So now I don't know what to do. You know, I've missed the even money, but I've gone straight into the shop. So I think, well, I've got to put the bet on, otherwise I'll have to pay it myself. So anyway, I've put the £100 on for Jeff, and I put something on for me as well. And I've stood and watched the race, and it got beat. And I've walked out the shop, and Jeff's picked me up, and he said, "Got beat?" I said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "Did you back it?" I said, "Yeah, I backed it." He said, "Well, okay, never mind." Anyway, so off we went. Anyway, the following week, I'm playing in a private game in Mill Hill. Like pre-internet, casinos closing at 4 o'clock. There were lots more private games going on. Yeah. So in this private game on a like full-size poker table with professional dealer and everything, I'm playing in this game, 7-card stud private game, and there's a ring at the doorbell. And someone goes to answer the door, and I can hear the voices in the hallway. And I think, I recognise that voice. And in walks this person, he goes, "Hello, everybody." And I looked at him and I said, "Trap 3, Monmore." And it was Ram Vaswani. He was the guy on the end of the phone. That's Ram and I became friends. We became friends in this game. We finished up running a game in Hendon. Like every Monday night. The game ran for 10 years. And Ross was a regular in the game. Ross would come all the time to the game. He came along one day with a friend, and Ross was a regular in the game. And then one day Ross bought Barney, and that's how the four of us collectively became the Hendon Mob, playing in that game in my flat in Hendon. We were four of the hardcore in the game, travelling around together, and that's how I met Ram Vaswani in a telephone box. He's still tipping losers today.
Oh, that is so old school. Absolutely. Do you actually consider yourself as old school?
Yes, I think I'm very old school. I mean, look at the grey hairs, right? I even got a matching.
They're all here as well.
I'll tell you how old school I am. Right? I mean, obviously, a lot of the stories will involve the boys, but I can remember going to the first ever poker tournament in Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo had never ever had a poker tournament before, and I think it was the Monte Carlo Millions, and we were staying at the Hotel de Paris. It's an amazing hotel, like on the main square. Very, very exclusive, very, very expensive. We were very lucky. We were all our expenses and everything were picked up, and we were playing in this tournament. Anyway, we've gone to check in this hotel, and I've got my laptop with me. I think we'd already set up the Hendon Mob website was already running. It was more like a blog at that point. The database hadn't even been thought of yet. And we had but there was a bit of online poker going on, and I had my laptop with me, and I went to the check-in, and I said, "Do you have internet here?" Oh, I can't do a French accent, but she says, yes, Mr. Beavers. Monsieur Beavers, yes, we have internet. I said, how do I connect? She said, hang on a second. She said, I don't know if there's any left, she said. So she went off and she came back and she had a 56k modem in her hand. And I said to her, the 56k modem, is that the best you got? She said, yeah, this is good connection, she said. So she hands me the connection and she says, you need to plug this into your phone in your room for the dial-up. I said, okay. Now Ram is behind me at reception, checking in with somebody else. And he can overhear the conversation. And he says to the guy checking him in, he says, I'd like the internet as well. And the guy says to him, oh, I'm sorry, Monsieur Vaswani, I'm very sorry. We only have 2, and they're both out now. Mr. Beavers took the last one. So for the whole hotel, they've got 2 56k modems. Ram comes running after me. He says, how much for the modem, Joe? How much for the modem?
People don't realise these days, you just click buttons and just expect it to turn on. And back in the day, what would have happened if the modem had to work?
Probably one of the most exclusive hotels in the whole world. Definitely one of the most expensive. They had 2 56k modems for everybody. For the whole hotel. Yeah.
You obviously... when you go to Amsterdam and you go to places like Austria and Slovenia, did you see devilfish? Was that the time where devilfish was around?
Dave was a very, very good friend of mine. I first met Dave in Paris. I first met him in Paris. And my first experience of him was him asking me if he could borrow £1,000. That was my first experience. What happened? He didn't ask me directly. We were all playing in Paris and he was friendly with Ross. And he said, it was one of those things where one of us always had some money and the rest of us was always skim. And we were in Paris playing lots of cash games. The cash games there were pretty good. And Ross came up to me and he said, listen, Dave's asked me if he can borrow £1,000. I said, well, why don't you going to lend it to him? He said, no, Joe. He said, I haven't got it. He said, can he borrow it from you? I said, well, there's 2 rules. I said, first of all, you got to guarantee it, Ross. And secondly, he's got to ask me himself. So that was my first experience. I lent it to him and I got it back. And Dave and I became very, very good friends. And it was very sad and he died 5 years ago now.
And that was
April 5 years ago, I think it was. I went up to help his funeral. It was pretty amazing. It was a pretty amazing funeral. Everybody was there.
A proper legend in the game, as well as yourself. You know, you've got the stories. That is just about it for part 2. We will be back very shortly with part 3. So back with part 3 of An Hour with the Tower and Mr. Joe Beavers. Joe, we're going to start with late night poker.
I wish I bought my glasses, my sunglasses. It's like... I don't think I need any cushions on it.
Do you consider that this was the change in poker?
There's 2 massive things that happened in poker. One of them was TV and the other one was online.
Yeah.
And TV...
of the day, new feature table just taking their seats. Little 15-minute break, and we will be off again shortly.
We will. Oh, I was teasing. Oh, I had to come running in and everything.
It's a new featured table. We're going to run through everybody. In 1's going to be James Clark. In 2, Andrew Wright. In 3, Chris Nicholas. In 4, Mohammed Sahal. In 5, Paul Green. In 6, Matthew Bushell. In 7, Jack Kentsback with another bullet. Oh. In 8, Sebastian Skalinski. And in 9 is Simon Baker.
Nice stuff. We're just about to start level number 3 of the day.
Here he is. Here he is.
Matt Bushell.
Yeah.
He's having a good week.
Is that the empty?
Second in the
Yeah, that's the empty.
30-30.
Yes, yeah. He was actually the one that busted me. Sent me to the rail, yeah.
Any calling? Was it a bad beat?
No, it was just standard really. Me and him were the short stacks. Luke had the lot. He had about 20 bigs, I think. I had 16. He opened. I had ace 9 clubs. I'm all in.
All right.
He's got aces. We were dead on the flop, so not even a little sweat for us, unfortunately. I would like a little sweat somewhere, but even a backdoor somewhere would have been nice. But no help for us, and a really good result for him. 27k for second in that field. Ching Yu, watching all the way from South Korea. Good afternoon.
South Korea. Get you. Loving it. Any news of your live 2022 dates yet, chaps? Says Sam. Not yet.
I mean, I can't see the red.
Not yet, but there will be an announcement either with the dates or confirmation that it'll be set at a later date. No dates set yet. The only thing they do have to worry about next year is the Commonwealth Games are in Birmingham, and the Ricoh Arena has been used before for events. So that might have to be taken into consideration regarding the dates for Goliath.
Yeah, you can't see the numbers because they're red. Can you turn it down? No, just turn it down. Off. Sorry, mate. Or make it white, light.
7-6-8, the flop. Up and down for James. It's blind and blind here, just bets and takes that one down. Paul Green taking his seat.
If you want to hear a bad beat story, seat 4.
Seat 4?
Yeah, could chew your ears off. Mosa Hill can chew your ears off with bad beat
You're going to be
stories.
famous in that. Yeah, that's fine, yeah. It was way too bright, man.
Ah, Raggy's in the turn and scene number 1. Raggy, second. Oh, second, oh Raggy, good lad.
Listen, can you bring the food like me or 5
Yeah, great run from him in Manchester.
It was indeed.
Absolute joke. Losing heads up to our Grosvenor sponsored pro, Rick Trigg.
Yeah.
Now, Frankie, it's a feature table. So
First sponsored pro to win a GUKPT.
Yeah, that's
well done, the trigger.
Yeah, well, we have this. Sorry about the anti. I just thought maybe it was a That's so funny.
Raggy. If we go James Raggy, it's Nottingham regular, plays at DTD a lot. Raggy, so a lot of players saw him in Manchester. Who's this James Clark fella? Raggy. And he's not a Jim or a Jimmy, he's a James. I did ask.
Yeah, probably going to go his way this pot. King High, Rainbow, as the aggressor, want to have lots of bets on this flop. Takes it down. He was on a tough final table. He done very well to get second in Manchester Tower. It was a very, very tough final. Very nice payday for him.
Strand 20. Tower, is there any chance of a stop in Dublin? We wish there could be. One of the nicest cities in the entire world. It is good to see poker being advertised again over in Dublin though. That things and restrictions might be easing off a lot in the next couple of months. But, oh sorry Mickey. Yeah, why isn't it in the UK? Well, right, I'm not very good on history, I must admit. And I'm a bit I apologise for not being very good on history or anything like that. Can I have a quick history
Do you
lesson?
need help? I'm really good at history. Do you need some help?
I'd like a really quick history lesson, please.
Oh wait, no, I'm not.
This would be entertaining.
When did Ireland get split into two? And why did Northern Ireland be part of the UK and not? And it's a genuine question because I'm a bit naive when it comes to history. I do apologise.
I'm just camera shy, yeah. No, I'm definitely camera shy. I don't want people
But
to
yeah,
see my range.
Dublin was announced. We worked over with Cardroom Direct quite a few times in the last 2 or 3 years. With
Done the IPO, didn't
we
you?
did the IPO, we did the Moneymaker tour, we did a few more, the ACOPs and all that. But Northern Ireland never been part of the tour, unfortunately. I don't even know if there's a casino in Belfast.
I was actually helping the dealers out.
But yeah, apologies about the naivety of my history. Maybe I should Google it, because Google knows everything. I don't even know if there's actually a Grosvenor casino in Belfast, which is probably where it would have to be.
So Jack short again here on his second bullet. 5.3 raises to 600 with the Queen Jack suited. Raggy's getting involved with the deuces. Yeah, the old Italians helping us. Chiesa says Ireland split at the start of the 20s because the South refused to live under British law, I believe.
Excellent. Thanks for that. That old guy is so bad, I'm guessing that's me. I'm the oldest here, to be fair. Oh, I'm hurt. So there you go, we're having history lessons and everything. Thanks for that, for all the replies.
So Paul and Jack with the same hand.
Is anyone talking to you? Your mum? Seriously, she's saying, okay, what's on the other?
Surprised to see Raggy make the call here. 3 overcards to his deuces. Does have position, but a bit optimistic. King of clubs on the turn. Has picked up a bit of equity now though here with his deuce of clubs. And be surprised if this one didn't check through tower. And there it goes, checks all the way round. And the ace on the river, so both Paul and Jack going to chop this one up when we eventually get to showdown. And if I'm Jack here, definitely want to be coming in for a bet once Paul's checked. Paul shouldn't really have too many flushes. And Raggy's going to bet most of his flushes on the turn, so they will chop this one up.
Chop it up. So there you go. Poker is banned in Northern Ireland. 100 years next year since Ayr left the UK rule. So poker is not yet legalised in Northern Ireland due to the Ukrainian laws. Ireland split at the start of the 20s because the South refused to live under British rule. So there you go. Thanks for all that. Thanks for that. I genuinely did not know. So there we go. And don't forget, follow us Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Twitch. The GKPT website is also there as well, so anytime you want to follow us, any one of those social media platforms is where you can find us.
Headphones.
Why has he got it in the right?
Yeah, exactly. He needs your headphones over his left ear.
Chiesa said, would you like a Florence sister?
Taking out the
He's worked in the museum for 7 years.
Actually, this ain't even
Sure, my first ever football match, Chiesa, was Florentino. That was the first ever football match I went and watched as a kid. Spurs beat Florentino, yeah, it was my first ever.
Derby, didn't you?
No, we lost 3-0, I remember. It was a friendly, I think, pre-season friendly. But
Oh, right.
yeah, it was the first ever game I went to. Must have been maybe 6-7 years old.
To be fair, he won no since.
We had the League Cup in 2008. John Woodgate with the header against Chelsea in the extra time. But other than that, yeah, you're right, Tal. Raggy with the ace jack in the low jack makes it 600, and Paul with ace king here in the small. I'd like to see him coming for the 3-bet here, somewhere around the 4x, just over, which looks like he's opted for. 3.5. And Matthew here, pocket nines, decides to get out of the way. Discipline lay down, and action back on Raggy, and shows Paul the ace jack. And Paul shows it the ace king, says good fold.
Like it. Level 3 of the day, new table with us. Big Man City fan in seat 2, Andy Wright. Won't be too pleased, the guy called Ronaldo has rejoined Manchester United.
He popped up last night, did you see that? Ronaldo, 89 and 96.
Yeah. Takes his shirt off because he's got a suntan.
He's like 36 years old, he looks like that tower. It's, it'd be good to see him in the Premier League actually though. I know he's obviously a different player to what he was 10 years ago, yeah, but he's still very good.
When did he leave United?
God, what was I think it was 2010 maybe?
Wow.
I think 12 odd years ago. I could be wrong, but it was around that time.
Simon David says, how much of the delay is that? 30 minutes on the live stream. We're chatting to you guys live, but we're watching the 30-minute delay with you.
So Raggy getting involved again. Jack 9 suited, early position. Chris comes in with the pocket pair and the hijack, and Jack easy defend with the 6-5 suited in the big.
Flop time Queen Jack 10. Also, Steve Warburton walking through the door. He says, this is my first time in Coventry in 6 years. So what, you're not playing Goliath in 6 years? He went, no. You have.
Sorry, I made a mistake.
Ryan.
City came third.
You have. Apparently so. That's what he said.
Come second in the main, 100k.
But it is really great to see, and I mean, it's like amazing to see Martin Frey and Matt Davenport play.
Yeah,
they finished 1 and 2 the last time we were here in 2012.
So Simon, ace queen under the gun. Want to be opening this one. Makes it 600. And Andrew with a hand here. +2. Chooses to free bet, makes it 1.6. And action going to come back round to Simon here. I don't think he's going to be folding here. Doubt he's going to 4-bet either, so we're up for the last option, which is called take a flop out of position. It's still fairly deep. We get the ace 7-3 2-heart flop. Andrew here with the jacks. In terms of range, as I always say, these ace high boards want to be having a lot of bets on them. It's just going to favour us more as the free better than it is as the caller. Although Simon will have the hands like 3s and 7s in this spot. On this occasion, just top pair, which is good enough. But almost on all turns that aren't a jack now. Want to be checking back here with the pocket jacks as Andrew once we get called once. No need to start bluffing with this hand and turning it into a bluff. Simon going to have plenty of ace-x in his range after he calls our flop bet. You expect him to fold all his like 8s, 5s, 6s, 9s, those type of holdings. So Andrew here coming in with a 2.5k bet, very small, just under 4 to 1 no money here for Simon. What this could be here from Andrew here, Tower, is he's betting 2.5 here to get a free showdown, and he's going to just check back on the end rather than checking back turn and having maybe calling off a bigger lead. But just going to be very surprised if he did come in for another bullet with the jacks. But there we go, he turns it over exactly what he thought on the turn. Went really small to get the free showdown. Got to dictate the action on the river, but Simon with the ace queen going to take that one.
it's nice to get a little bit of history, love. I'll tell you what. I honestly, genuinely didn't know. And now I do.
Gully says, I know Ace Queen wasn't going to fold to that free bet from Jack Jack, but it was a bit on the small side for this stage of the tournament. The sizing really, most of the time, as I always say, when you're in position and you're free betting, you want to go around 3x. When you're out of position, chuck another big blind on, you want to go around 4x. Like that's more the standard sizing you see these days, but then you can change it up and mix it up to exploit certain opponents. Like if it's an opponent that's not really going to be thinking too much about your hand, you can opt for larger sizes if you know they're not going to be folding to your free bet, and you can start to get more value from your hands. But against good competent players, that's around where you're sort of looking in that sort of remit, in position 3x, out of position 4x. But as I say, always got to include exploiting your game as well, so there are times where you can mix it up against certain opponents.
Razor Kev's on it. We'll come back to that very shortly after this hand. Out of a juicy pot building.
Flop a Jack 10, 7, all spades. Top pair, top kicker here for Jack. Chris with a gut shot with his pocket eights. Don't have the 8 of spades, nor position. He's getting exactly 3-1 on his money, but thinks better of it. Kev, I think Mark Albrighton was 10,000, or he was one of them. I'm pretty sure Mark Albrighton had a...
What was the question?
He said 10,000, 20,000 and 30,000 Premier League goal.
And
first.
I was at the first. 1992. Sheffield United versus Manchester United. Brian Dean.
What was you doing there?
All my family are Sheffield United fans. First game of Premier League, new era in football. I was there. It was about the 6th minute header, boom, get in. Albrighton was the 20,000. And 30,000 was this week, was it?
Yeah, Les Ferdinand.
Sir Les. That's one thing he'll never be.
A cut-off limp here from Jack with the 7-6. And Sebastian taking advantage of that, comes in for a raise, makes 600 with a6 on the button. James, or Raggy I should say, in the big blind, makes a call, and so does Jack with the 7-6 off. And it's ace Jack 4 rainbow. Sebastian is going to come in for a bet here, but as always talk about, you've got to understand what are the good top pairs, to having your check back range, incorporating back in. This could be a fairly good candidate, but Sebastian opts the bet 1.1, and James with a piece will make the call.
There's on the turn.
So coming in for another street here, Sebastian. Obviously this would be targeting specifically a Jack. It's not any other hand that we're really going to get any action from, but does get the value from the Jack here. I'd be very surprised, however, if he did come in for a third street on this 10 river. Reggie actually improves slightly, but doesn't change anything. Sebastian still with the best of it, going to take that one.
Yeah, three betting with King 6, like early position, and like 6-6.
Oh. Yeah, it seems very unexciting.
Yes, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter and YouTube. Follow us whenever you like. Alan Budge, is Goliath back next year? Hope so, can't wait. Neither can we. Yes, it will be back live, hoping that nothing stops it regarding world everything's, pandemics and malarkeys. But all being well, then dates will be set in the coming weeks, and we will have confirmation regarding the dates. The only thing stopping us a little bit next year is the Commonwealth Games are here at the Ricoh Arena. I think the Commonwealth Games are in August as well, so we'll find out what's happening regarding Goliath. But yes, definitely. Well, I'm saying definitely. We said definitely last year, and we said definitely this year. But if nothing goes wrong with the world, we'll be back live for Goliath number 10.
And it will be a biggie. Hopefully the biggest.
And he said, yeah, it's fine. And then they both went all in. The guy looked tasty and he thought,
Is it 10 days for us? 9 days, Taylor?
Yes.
On the stream?
Normally set up on a Friday, and then 7 day one's a day 2 and a day 3. And then we're all to the bar and overlay taking it then.
A bit of action here. Jack flopping trips and Sebastian decided to kill the 5-3. Oh, sorry, it's King 6 Deuce 2 diamonds, so that's actually must be a burn card that's registered as the flop card. So we know King of Clubs isn't going to be rolling out, but it's actually King 6 Deuce 2 diamond flop, and we have an all in and snap call. Guessing it was a 4 or a diamond on the turn. Oh no, it's not an all in. Sorry, it's 2k. It's 5 on the turn, 8 on the rivers, the King Queen, the best hand, and now we have an all in from Jack and Sebastian, getting over 3.5 to 1 in his money here, but just with a 5. Like we do be, I guess, some worse diamond draws, like some ace queen of diamonds, queen jack of diamonds, jack 10 of diamonds, but other than that, there's not really too much that we're going to be in front of here. Obviously, Jack being the pre-flop opener, he's going to have plenty of king X in there, the ace kings, or the king 10, king jack, maybe even king 9 suited from the hijack. So correctly getting out of the way with his 5, Sebastian.
Christian's back.
Yeah, all the way from Hungary.
Oh, he was watching the live stream.
Yeah, he was watching
answering the questions and everything.
Yeah, he was.
No, he's back daily. He says, I'm here now forever. I am not going anywhere. I'm on the circuit for the rest of the season. Good lad.
Is it 4-course meal for your mum's meal? Okay, tell him off. Okay, tell us.
So I'm just going to nip out, confirm the if the end of level 4 is dinner time, and a 60-minute delay, and I shall come back with tea.
Oh, lovely.
Oh,
lovely.
Tell you what, you get looked after.
Yeah,
you.
I do.
Just because you come third.
Get nervous, Chris. So the Leeds one, Leeds Holiday Inn, so the one opposite. For 5 days, from Wednesday to Monday. It's only 290
We've got plenty going on next week as well, guys. We can't wait this event. Next week we've got 30-30s running. The Vic, the poker room in London, Newcastle, Birmingham, and back to Manchester, Very New Road. Kick-off Wednesday the 8th September, there is an online leg, and then Thursday, Friday, and a turbo as well on Sunday at 12 PM, just before day 2 starts. That's 360 plus 40 for them. And I'm sure every prize pool will smash the guarantee of 50,000. Been great success with those tournaments so far. As Sebastian makes it 600. Raggy likes to get involved, not folding the Jack 8 suited. Andrew in the small blind here, really like this, and this is a free bet from him. Yeah, it is, 1.8. Maybe a bit on the small size, as we were just talking about when you are free betting out of the blinds. Do want to go a bit larger than what you would choose in position, but Andrew just 3xing it, and both his opponents coming along, both of them as well, flopping a flush draw here, so diamond on turn or river could spell trouble for Raggy, but still choosing to continue here, Andrew, with his ace-10.
2100.
And gets called in both spots. And as soon as he's called in both spots, as Andrew, unless the turn's an ace, we should be done with this hand. And it's a diamond on the turn. And this could spell disaster for Raggy, because the pot now is 12.1. Raggy has less than 2 SPR. And once Andrew checks here, Sebastian, after making his flush, you expect him to want to try and get value. Not let this one get checked through. A diamond can roll off on the river, a 7, a 3, an 8, all these cards that can potentially kill his action. So I think as Sebastian here, we want to start getting value from our hand now. Need to be aware of both Andrew and Raggy's stack as well. Want to get all the chips in by the river. It's probably somewhere around 6-7k, that sort of size, and then it's going to be hard for Raggy to ever get away from this one. Yeah, I like it, like the sizing, 6.8. And Raggy now with 2 options. We can obviously flat or we can raise here, but do need to be aware of other flushes being out there, but I always say it's just cooler. We've got the third nuts here as Raggy just can't be folding this, facing the river jam on a brick. If it comes like the 5 of diamonds, it would probably save us our stack, but if it is a brick river, it's going to be curtains, and that is not the river. And this is what this size on the turn does as well. It sets up a lovely little shove here, around 2/3 pot. And looks like he's gone for 8.5. He's gone fairly small here. Maybe trying to get paid by a Queen X type hand. Or maybe Ace of Diamonds could be out there. Bare Ace of Diamonds and Raggy shoves. There'll be a snap call. And he's going to get the bad news. It's flush over flush. We're off to Coolville. And it's just unlucky, that one for Raggy. Couldn't see any way he wouldn't go broke after that 6 of diamonds on the turn. And Sebastian takes a lovely pot up to 65k. This stage of the tournament, that is a great stack to have. Look at that, 325 big blinds.
The open feature table C1.
There you go, no smash.
Hating the shove though. Hating the shove, innit? Hating the shove, like that's that nuts there 99% of the time.
I'm waiting for the If it's not the chap who came second, then it would have been nuts.
Yeah.
But this guy is like thinking,
just cleaned up.
Gibraltarians are surely just a call on the river. What worse calls? Yeah, I guess that's true. It might have been to do with the sizing. Maybe Raggy just talked himself into shoving over a third pot bet on the river. Maybe he thought if his opponent had a flush, he'd probably opt for a larger sizing, and he may have just levelled himself into shoving, not thinking about what hands he is going to get called by. 9, 10 of diamonds, I guess, is the only one regarding combinations of flushes, but it's one of them. 7-8 might be in there as well. 7-8 suited on the flop that pinged the gut shot. Could always be a hand that may call. We've got action again here. There's Mo with the jack, Sebastian with the ace king. 8 on the turn.
1300.
Bet 1700.
Mo continuing betting, but Sebastian with the ace king not having any of it. 4 diamonds on the end. And after we donk the flop as Mo, after not 3-betting the jacks, want to be coming in for a 3rd street of value now here. It's going to be... Sebastian can have some 8x in there, but it's not going to be many, so I want to try and get called by a 10x type hold-in, potentially a 9. Or in this scenario, Sebastian thinking about it with ace king. And the thing is, from Sebastian's perspective here, I know maybe sometimes he can have a bluff in this spot, but he's got a whole host of hands out of the big blind. He's got 10s, he's got 10x, he's got 9x, he's got 8x. Wow, is this a raise?
667.
So I think Mo's going to look this one up. Like, hands that we're repping here, pocket 10s, pocket 9s, quad 8s. Overpairs aren't going to raise this river. I don't think they're just going to call, because Mo can quite plausibly have an 8 out of the big blind. Like, it might lead a hand like 8-7, 8-6, Jack 8, Queen 8. And it's just a story. He's now just condensed his range to such a few amount of hands here. As the opener, it's 10s, 9s. You've got 8, 9 of hearts, 8, 9 of diamonds, and 10, 8 of diamonds in there as well. So I think Mo might look this one up. Especially with jacks as well. Like, we block Jack Queen, which is another hand that you can obviously have in here. So we've actually got a really good hand to bluff catch with here as Mo. Yeah, I like the call. And credit to Sebastian for trying it. But as I always say, guys, when you are bluffing in these type of spots, go through your head all the hands that you should have for value in this spot. And the good time to bluff is when you do have a whole host of value hands. In that scenario, it's definitely condensed range once we go call, and then raise that river. Basically repping a boat, maybe Jack Queen. But from Mo's perspective, with 2 jacks in our hand, it does make it a lot easier to call. We halve the combos of one of the hands that our opponent may be representing.
Right, 700.
Your wing set, 15, these are economy. Yeah, very old song, but
yeah. The thing is, if that goes on there, it reads us.
At level 3 of the day, early on, it's GUKPT Coventry.
That lands there, it reads it on his.
As we see Sebastian make it 600 with the Queen 10, Simon in with the Ace Deuce suited, and Matthew out of the way in the big blind, heads up action to the flop. King Jack 5, 2 diamonds. So Sebastian flopping up and down here on a king high board. Got a pretty slam dunk c-bet most of the time. Bet of 1.1. Simon just gets out of the way with the ace high. Afternoon, Gary. Gary Clark in the chat box. Span, of course I can. In seat 1 is Ruggy, James Clark. In 2 is Andrew Wright. In 3, Chris Nicholas. In 4, Mo Sahal. In 5, Paul Green. In 6, Matthew Bushell. In 7, Jack Kent. In 8, Sebastian Scalanzi. And in 9 is Simon Baker. I should mention as well, Ruggy did just bust, so he flush over flush versus Sebastian. Very unlucky for him. Caller's part of poker. I'm sure he'll be straight to the cash desk for a re-entry. 2 re-entries a day, so 3 bullets a day potentially you can have. 9 if you want to bust tomorrow 3 times and then register turbo, so you can max out, but I doubt we'll be seeing anyone do that. There's Chris in the hijack with the ace-7 spades, and Matthew here with the aces in the small. And that makes it 2k. Really like the sizing that he's chose here. Not too big, not too small. Hit the nail on the head.
17 sold a
But Chris here with a7 suited gets out of the way.
Where's it full bet this time?
Maybe they're a bit deeper. We may have seen him peel that in position, but thought better of it. Little pick up there for Matt in seat 6.
What happened to James in seat 1?
Flush over flush. Yeah, a bit of a caller. Maybe he could have flatted river, but I don't know. It's one of them you can level yourself into shoving if you're not playing against a balanced opponent, because he went 3rd pot on the river. Like, he probably just talked himself, my opponent's never got a flush here, I've got the best hand, and ripped it in, got snapped off by a better flush, and was out the door.
Well, I've just seen him again.
Is he back in?
He was.
Oh.
First hand.
Yeah.
Gets aces.
Yeah.
Raises.
Yeah.
Best hand I've seen in this table.
And?
Raise it up, gets 2 calls, becomes 8-8-7. Bet, call, I'm all in.
Raised 700.
Yeah, call. I've got 8-9.
Good night.
He's thinking about doing his 3rd one. Oi, oi, look at this! Who's pressed that button? Maz Bako, Gary Miller, Umesh Katecha, Gary Bennett. Early eliminations scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Paula McGee.
Jamie, how you doing?
Umesh Kachoga again. Albert Sapiano. Out the door. Josh Mehta. The Trots. Were on our feature table in Manchester.
Yeah, he was. He was, I think he had a deep run, Paul.
They did. And Jangir Hack.
Sounds like that.
And the flops go like 7, 8, 9.
Afternoon, Pixie. Gary Clark, I'm watching on Facebook. Good afternoon, young man.
Yeah, somebody had said
Nightmare flop when you go 7 ways.
yeah, it's like as soon as the guy to my left pulled my raid, I thought, yeah, he goes to the straight.
Yeah, exactly. One on tour.
Recent eliminations scrolling across the bottom of the screen. This is flop ace-10-8. Top F Paul. Paul Green sat in seat number 5.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It was weird, wasn't it? Because
Andy Wright staring him down in seat 2.
We played 7-handed, and then I think like halfway through the mini.
Really lovely, lovely guy, Paul. He was on my table as well, the mini man. A lot of talking to him. He won Edinburgh, he told me a few years back, one of the GUKPTs, yeah.
He did indeed, the quiet man at the table. They called him the silent assassin when he won it.
No, that's right, yeah.
He can drink though, I'll tell you that. He's knocking beer back all day at the table. I don't know how he got out of the casino.
He's from Edinburgh, he's Paul.
That's probably why he can drink then.
It was a mistake because basically it was still 7-handed. So I've only got what
So Andrew here. Coming in for a 2.6k. He's got all 3 streets here, Andrew. I actually really like this. Open, gone barrel, 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 and it's actually a really, really nice line he's taken here. Maybe sizing on the river, we can go a bit bigger. We can pull a really attractive price. It does look like we are coming for value. But from Paul's perspective here, Andrew's got the 10s, well, big quad 8s now on the river. He's got ace 10, ace 8 suited, ace jack, ace queen, ace king, and these are the good spots to bluff. All these value hands that we can have here as Andrew. It's like a really nice line from him. With the queen jack, Paul shouldn't have any 8x either, because the 8 of spades on the board, there's not like a backdoor flush draw with a pair for 8x, so we can exclude that from his range. So basically, just putting pressure on maybe a 10x of spades or an ace x hand, and that's a really, really nice play there from Andrew. Really good line. And I can't blame Paul for folding there. I think I might have to toss that one into the muck too. It's just hard to see what we beat and hardly anything other than the bluffs. And just didn't give Andrew credit for a bluff and let that one go.
When Paul won it in 2017, Colin Moore got the biggest chunk of money because I think he had about 75% of the chips in play with 4 left. We did a 4-win shot. Swan it, Ian Swan.
Yeah, the Kings
and Mark Frith.
Did it show you bubbled that, Paul?
Did it show you? No. Was it you?
Was
this one of your first events that you played on the GUKPT?
No, my first event that I played was 2016 GUKPT Reading. Ryan Spittles busted me on the bubble there as well, and went on to win it. Went on to win it. Yeah, I was gutted as well because I remember sitting down there looking. There was I think 3 tables left, 27 players. We're going to play my first one, win my first one, and then Spittles.
I'm pretty sure that was the last time we saw Ryan Spittles as well. When we got to talk to him, because he used to be a bit of an analyst on Sky, didn't he? On Sky Poker when they were doing the TV programme on TK. I remember chatting to Ryan. He says, "Tower, finally get to talk to you." I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's good to speak to you too." And I'm sure that's the last time we saw him.
Oh, nice. But I'm not seeing him around.
Good lad, old Ryan.
He's been in London a bit recently.
Yeah, Paul Greeny and Swan Mark with Colin Wood chopped it.
Still banned from close though.
And John McGinn was
roulette episode.
5th.
So we've got a 3-bet pot here. Sebastian 3-bet in the open from Paul with the kings. And gets a lovely flop, jack 7-6 rainbow. Not much to worry about here from our perspective. Obviously 6 7s and jacks can all be in Paul's range, but only a few combos of that. And a very quick fold from Paul there. Gets shown the kings. Went set mine in, did not hit it, and then just didn't get sticky. But Sebastian chipping up.
Yeah, I'm sure he got value for money.
Actually, yeah, Gibraltarian, I actually see him quite a lot, Ryan, nowadays. He's one of the private games that I play, and he bounced around it, but he's only last couple of months come back on the scene. I think it was last couple. You wouldn't recognise him. I didn't recognise him.
Really?
Yeah. Got a massive beard now. Like.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, he's still around. I can't remember what he said he was doing. He'd done something for a few years, because when I saw him a couple of months ago, I said about what happened in Reading. He said that was the last poker tournament that he's played in.
Wow.
Yeah, when he won GUKPT Reading.
He literally did
Brian
speak to me
Spills.
and then go.
Oh yeah.
Literally did speak to us and then leave. We shan't mention Reading.
Online,
Too soon for Andy. Far too soon.
21.
Don't mention drawn.
Wasn't that the ice cream leg Reading as well? With all
It
them,
was. Some good memories in Reading. Well, some memories.
In Reading when we were on the rally, fell through the screen.
Oh, it was I. Through the lap table went and everything.
I've looked on the MPL.
Aye. Well, if you're watching, Ryan, good afternoon.
He could have just changed his use.
Maybe we'll get back to Reading.
Well, obviously you've got to play. You got to be able to play.
Yeah.
Win
Head
them.
back to the action. We've got 3-bet pot here. Sebastian peeled 9-8 suited with position. And Chris continued, but got called once. Just thinking about all the hands Sebastian can have here after peeling on 3-bet. There's going to be plenty of pocket pairs in there, like 6s through 9s. Some 10x, suited 10x that would have peeled. 6 on the end. And Chris here, don't think we're going to see him bluff at this tower. He's got a fair bit of showdown with his ace high. And Sebastian chooses not to bluff in the ace king. We'll take that one down. I wouldn't mind seeing a bet on the turn there from Sebastian. Once it's checked to us, we only have 9 high. It's never going to be good at showdown. Obviously, we still have equity to make a flush, maybe have a stab, fold out some ace highs.
Then there's a few people I spoke to who've done like 10 flats.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty normal. I do full bullets to make aces.
Yeah, I don't know what will happen next year, because obviously I'm presuming it will be back live.
Yeah.
I don't know, do anything. Can't really have a live and an offline.
No. I think their record number's almost 10k runners, right?
So live, yeah.
I think at the moment they just didn't want to run like a big field one.
No, that's right. No.
It makes sense why they did GUKPT here and what they did that online.
I don't think they would have got the dealers.
No. But it was like you say, hopefully next year.
It'll be massive.
So 55,000 big stack on our table. Later edge all the way through the day. If you fancy playing, it is all the way through the day up until the last 3 hands. And then you can even buy into day 2 if you want to. Uh-oh, buttons pressed. There we go. Nice run round of the outer tables from the guys. Jack making it 600 under the gun, and Simon under the gun +2. Obviously either option, call or 3-bet, opts for the latter.
makes it 1.8, 3x. Jack here with King Queen out of position. Looks like he's counting out calling chips. You see a lot of players may just choose to fold this one out of position. Obviously King Queen suited, a bit more playability, lean more towards pill, but Jack wants to see a flop.
Check.
Yes, King 5, 2 hearts.
So the ace queen, great flop for Simon here. Should have the best hand almost always. You expect ace king to 4-bet. Only hand we should be worried about is 5s, but that's only 3 combos. Bet 2.1. And Jack, quarter piece. Looks like he's counting out the calling chips. Going to call once. Obviously we are ahead of hands like 10s, jacks, queens, 9s maybe, and if there's any in there, just some free bet bluffs pre. Gonna call once, getting 3-1 on his money. 7 of diamonds on the turn, great card for the ace queen, shouldn't change anything from our perspective. And we've got a perfect size now to move all in. Jack with less than 1 SPR. Just under a pot size bet, but if we're Simon here, we want to be moving all in, get called from some worst ace X, some ace Jack, ace 10. Obviously there's some heart draws that potentially be out there. And we don't have the ace of diamonds in our hand either, so ace X of diamonds is a thing. Doesn't choose to put him all in, goes for 5.5. Maybe weren't aware of Jack's stack in relation to the pot. Jack now, correctly, just going to have to get out of the way.
So news over from Dublin, the 22nd of October, the IPO is on. The IPO in Dublin back. Super events over in Dublin. Send us some details of where it will be. Lines 1-2. Big blind ante of 200. Do you ever hear when you sat at the tables on people still saying, should it be the button? The big blind?
Oh, what, the ante?
Yeah.
Big blind ante is I think everyone's just used to it now. It's the way live poker is going. It's just all it is, Tal. It's just to speed things up. You put the exact same amount in as a running. If you had a running ante, go back a couple of years on an orbit, you put the exact same amount of chips in. Rather than a 25 running ante, everyone just puts 200 in there.
Yeah.
Big. It just speeds things up. Online,
The dealer saying anti-please.
Yeah, exactly.
Anti-please.
There's always that one person as well that's just always oblivious, or used to be like that. But yeah, the day of the running ante has gone. Still a thing online and everything, because it makes no difference. Online time isn't an issue. Live poker, it just helps. It makes things a lot smoother.
I started like on the 350 and then just worked
Some details to be confirmed. We've been announced for 22nd. Awesome. Slowly but surely, everybody is getting back to normal.
And my Matt at the time said, oh, you'll take a chili in practice. So I'm like, I can't, that's all on that. So I'm like, so it gets the laptop, puts her in the car, puts the laptop on her lap, plugs the dongle in, and she was playing like you're only like 9 or 10. Dad, I got aces. I'm like 3 bet.
Cool. That's pretty good. Check.
All aboard the limp train this pot. Kenneth starts it off with the ace-8 suited. Much prefer an open, but that causes Andrew to over limp. Matthew's in on the button as well, and end up going 5-way. Ace-10-4, 2 spades, action. Top pair, 2 flush draws, and middle pair in there. And Kenneth fires out. Andrew calls here with the Jack-10. With 3 players behind us, middle pair, someone betting into 4 players. Personally, I think we've just got a muck second pair in this scenario. Obviously, heads up part is completely different, but once you go 5-way and someone bets into 4 players, a 10 is just never going to be good. This 8 on the turn increases Sebastian's equity slightly, but it does make Kenneth 2 pair. Now bets 2.2, and Andrew cannot be continuing here. We've got 2 players behind us to worry about. We've got second pair, we've got an opponent that bet into 4 players on the flop, and now continuing firing into a 3 on the turn. So even with an ace-X hand here, I think we'd still probably have to fold it as Andrew, unless it was one of the stronger candidates. But now action, back to the 2 players with the flush draws, and getting just under, well, just over 2.5 to 1. Matthew's going to call, and then Sebastian will make the call as well. Spade on the river tower.
Spade on the river.
Ah, it's a 3.
Complete brick, the 3 of hearts.
So Kenneth now wants to be coming in for a 3rd street of value here. Just going to have the best hand almost always. We want to start getting some value from some worse ace-X holdings. No, he's checked it. He's checked it. Yeah, I don't think we can bluff here. We've got bad hand to bluff with here as Matthew. We've got 2 spades in our hand. Yeah, I really like decisions to check there. Sometimes you sit there and you think, oh, I've got jack high, and you hear a lot of people say sometimes, oh, the only way I could win it was betting, but sometimes it's fine to just give up and let the opponent have the pot, because if he did bet there, he would have got snapped off. Very well timed check behind.
Somebody's asking, is there any chance of getting the Blackpool schedule out a little bit earlier so we can book time off if we want to go for the entire week? The dates are out, yes. Around Luton time, Blackpool will be out. So we'll announce it all the week through Luton. The schedule is not out. The dates are set for Blackpool. Make sure you get on the dates, but the full schedule is not there yet at the moment. Gibraltarian said he wants it a little bit earlier, but Blackpool will be finishing on the 7th of November, so the 27th of October-ish for the dates for Blackpool. All the way through to the 7th of November, which will be the final day.
Better bring me thermals.
In November, definitely.
Three to the flop here, king, queen, rainbow. Sebastian flopping the best of it. Simon does have Broadway draw. Jack. Going to come in for airballings here with some backdoor spades. Gets called in 2 spots, and once we're called in 2 spots here as Jack, need to shut down. Cannot be firing on king, queen, rainbow again. I know we can see it probably would work. Well, not now that Sebastian's picked up a flush draw, but need to be aware there's plenty of king X out there. Bingo on the river for the ace-jack as Simon. River's Broadway. You expect Sebastian, if he has a king, to lead, and you expect Jack to continue betting his king X here. So if I'm Simon, I'm going to choose a fairly small size here, try and get looked up by a potential queen X holding that could be out there. Opted for around 3/4 pot 3.3 into 4.4. And Simon here, we just don't beat too much. Unless he's turning like Jack 10 into a bluff here. But other than that, that's the only plausible bluff you'd really expect him to have in this spot. Everything else got there, or we're already behind two. So I'd like to see Sebastian figure this one out. There's just nothing we really beat. And in the big blind as well, he does have a whole host of King X, all the King X suited, all the way from King Deuce through. Some like King 8, King 9, all in the range of Simon here out the big blind. Jack 9 in there as well. Wow, it looks like he's going to pay this one off. Non-believer. Oh, are they in? Are they out?
Shake it all about.
What might be going through Sebastian's head here is might lead some turns with some kings, but didn't have the betting lead. That was Jack, and he continued flop, so he's not going to be leading into a strong range. But wow, he's paid it off. Really, really surprised to see that call. I think it's a pretty standard fold in that spot, but Sebastian looked at Simon may have got a read that was incorrect and chose to pay it off. Yeah, I'm Lubert says a raise would have been good in that spot. Better than calling, definitely. But I think in that scenario, it's just got to be fold a lot of the time, almost all the time. If you do want to incorporate some raises in, I guess we have a queen in our hand, blocks and boats. But I think we've got to be just tossing that one into the mark. Maybe it might have had to do with Sebastian's stack as well. He's well stacked up. It's not really a chip in his stack from making the call there. It's only a tiny percentage of what he has in front of him. But all about just thinking about the hands that we're actually ahead of. And in that spot there weren't many bluffs at all, other than the Jack 10, which is less likely on the 10 river as well. But Simon takes a nice one, and Jack Queen 10 in the cutoff.
Neil Jilks on Facebook says, are there any cash games running? At this moment, no. Quite surprising, but there's no cash games running at this moment in time. Few players on the waiting list, but not any cash games. As soon as we go into the room and we find out if there are any cash tables, we'll let you know.
Jelly 4. Think I've told everyone I know about that free turn, free river that kept me in. Yeah, that was a brutal one. That was against Sam Orledge, for Sam. Found the old running free somehow on turn and river to keep with about 20 odd left in the mini.
Who was that?
This Jelly 4.
Oh, right.
I can't remember his name. I played with so many people over the last couple of days, but I know the face. I know exactly who it was against. But it happens. There are some brutal ones in the game. Cheers, Brad. Happy with third. I am now, anyway. I am now.
Easy.
Yeah.
Afternoon, brothers.
And I'm Lou Bell. I can't remember. I play so many hands. It's very hard to remember everyone I'm in, but unless it's a certain one. But I'm sure I'll recognise you by face. Kenneth, blind on blind here. King 9 suited, comes in for the complete. Blinds are now up. Level 4, last level before the dinner break.
Yeah, I had him all in with ace king and diamonds, free flop against ace king and clubs, and that was to have like 11 million and you would have had 5 million.
Oh, what, heads up?
Yeah.
So Brad is coining it in. His busiest weekend in 15 years. Be able to retire soon, Brad.
He's already retired, I thought. Semi-retired.
Yeah, the live stream is on a 13-minute delay. We chat in the live stream live because we watch the 30 minutes late with everybody else.
Oh yeah, sorry Sam, I put the block on you, didn't I? Put the block on you. He had a hand Ace King versus Kings for his tournament life and he came Ace in return. And I was telling him about it, I gave it the old what a life, and then after that he proceeded to run terrible in every pot he was in. But no, I enjoy playing with you, Sam. I think it's one of the first times in a long time, so it was nice to see you back at the tables. Sebastian, the chips and the aces. Makes it 800.
Nice. Oh, regarding Goliath, apparently we will have news this weekend. Is what I've been told. That's it.
That's it.
That's all I got told. I got told we will have news this weekend. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I had aces, so I sat there.
Top set.
In the band.
I had aces on the big blind. Small blind, username is Aero. Yeah, it's quite impressive.
I know the username.
Yeah, Karen Arthur, I think. She jammed on me with ace-9. She's been jammed like every other round. And my name is yeah, with ace-9, and she ends up making a straight.
30/30s next week. If you want to play one of the £400 events, London, Newcastle, Birmingham, and Manchester.
Jack fairly short now, playing sub 20 bigs. We're now playing 200, 300, and opens the ace-4 suited. It's called by Sebastian. It looks like Mo's defended in the big as well. Mo with a 7-6 suited. Not choosing to continue after flopping the nut flush draw here, Jack, especially off his stack size. Potentially could have come in for a third pot bet and shoved all turns, and it's actually worked out lovely for him because he has riven a nut flush, but not going to get paid in any spot from any player. And if I'm here, if I'm in this spot tower, I go pretty large as Jack. King X can definitely be out there. So just go large sizing. It's hard for our opponents to put us on a flush after we check back flop. It's Mo thinking about potentially heroing this one off with a 6, but just can't. And the nut flush is the best hand. Everyone's showing at this table, very friendly. As you can watch the stream back and see the whole cards anyway, half hour later.
Probably 4 or 5 years ago.
It's Sam Grafton's birthday.
More than halfway through day 2.
Main event, Grand Final champion in 2012 in Brazil at the minute. Sam.
Is it?
Yes. Residing in Brazil.
He shows 9s. Guy in between us says,
Happy birthday, Sam. Won't be watching, but pass on regards if you know and you've got personal details of Sam Grafton. Top lad, knows his onions.
And that was like a million chips. So you think, you know, if you win that,
then your table captain.
That's right. Well, yeah, potentially day 3.
How many millions in playing?
Mo with a pair of small. Make the
Well,
call.
we think if the last one was like over 9,000 runners, 9,300 runners.
Paul going to defend the ace deuce suited.
But even with that, when they get to the final table, there's still like the average is like 15 picks.
Yeah. I saw they in 2019, I think they did like 5-way deal.
So Sebastian with the best of it. 2 pair for him. No set for Mo, and Paul just with backdoor nut flush draw. Sebastian choosing to continue. I'd be very surprised if we saw a turn card. In these spots here with the pocket pairs, when it is a paired board and you've got 2 umbers, just best to get out of the way. Yes, we can have the best hand, but times we don't, we've got 8%, we need to hit our set on turn or river. And the times we do, you've also got to factor in that we're going to be up against 2 overcards and a counterfeit out on the turn and then backdoor counterfeit outs as well. So even against a hand like ace queen there, we're basically only best case scenario out 60%. So it's one of them scenarios where you're either crushed 8% or 60%. It's just versus range. It's not a good spot to be in, especially out of position. So Mo making the fold correctly.
Mad Madge is watching in sunny Blackpool. How is it ever sunny in Blackpool when I'm not there?
There we go.
It's cloudy as hell over here. It's like there's not a patch of sunshine anywhere. Oh, the Mad Madge is well. Sunny Blackpool.
Call. Call.
5-way.
He had like a million chips on day one.
Oh, really?
Jack 5-3, 2 diamonds. It's top for Andrew. Flops the best of it.
So he's like opened his bag on day 2, he's got like about 12 chips. That was like me in Manchester, I played the
There's
turn.
not much that can continue here.
I went through like
The same scenario as last hand. You're not going to get to the turn.
But I only had like, I had 25 Ks. I had about like 10 chips and and I felt like I was chip leading the table.
Yeah,
But I felt like mentally it was like, yeah, it really done me head in.
Crazy.
Mad Madge getting back to normal after a bit of hospital care. Nice one, Madge. And just maybe visiting Leeds. And I'm guessing that's Madge that's played Leeds last time we saw. Mad Madge. Yeah, Mo. Preston's sunny today as well.
Shame Coventry isn't.
Yeah.
It's not nice out there.
It's like the deepest I've ever sat.
In London.
Chris making it 800 in the hijack. And Matt here, thinking about it, but let's it go. Don't think we would have saw Matt call there. Maybe he had a 5-second thought about a 3-bet, but thought better of it. And Jack going to defend the suited queen in the big. To the flop.
3, 4, 5.
Wow, what a
Two
flop.
spades.
What a
Floppity flop,
flop for the queen 6. And Jack's got the perfect stack size here to just check shove over, but continue from Chris if he does decide to continue. Bet 900. It's actually Chris that's bet here. There we are, we're just thinking it. Oh, he didn't choose to. He's just going to call. And we'll see a turn card.
he's like, he's stable. But he's like, he's got
Which is a queen.
The queen of diamonds on the turn.
It's a really lovely card for us at Jack. We've now got top pair, flush draw, up and down straight. Got it all going on. The absolute works here. And I know I said he should probably shove the flop, but now he'd definitely be shoving the turn.
Dust the whole lot off in about 5 minutes.
He signed on tables with London.
He did, yeah.
I'm so surprised he just called it. No, there it is. There it is.
All in.
And Chris now.
Yep, the way.
Come out the wrong side of the few hours.
Yeah. No, he made me feel like
I like overall 4 card, but I'm not confident enough with it to play it like, for any card.
it's 6 cards, it's number 15 going.
So many dynamic games are so changing.
Follow me, follow you, social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Twitch. Watch it on Facebook, GUKPT website as well. Lines 1-3 with a 3. End of level 4 is the 60-minute dinner break. Ken in C1 makes it 800. Matt calls in C number 6. Flop time, Queen 10-4. Fourth, get a piece of it, and we're going up now straight for Sebastian in C number 8. Ken in C1 continues. Should be called in both spots. Six of diamonds on the turn. Can still be the best of it in C1. That's 2.5. Heads up. Fades the river. Might go check. Spring a bit of value on the river. No, it does go check. See what the ground is done. .30 is being played all around the estate.
How much about 30,000 you spent so far?
About 100. Could have spent a lot more. I was drinking and playing Ultimate Hold'em last night, but they closed the table. Could have gone a long way.
Flop of ace 2-9, 2 hearts. Pair of fives for Sebastian in seat number 8. It's out flop by Chris in 3.
Who came first?
Yeah, Chris going to be better than this.
Is he a player on circuit?
Great flop for us with the ace queen as being the opener.
Yeah, I didn't
Going off this board. 1.7 is a bet. And that'll be it. Yeah.
How long did the heads up last?
In the Walsall nuts can't call.
Really?
Yeah, I started with, he had 3-1 chip lead.
Oh, right, okay, you tried to get it back.
Ended up getting it all in with ace king of diamonds against his ace 3 of clubs 3 flop. And that was for me to have a 3-1 chip lead, and he rivered the flush.
Oh, unlucky.
Sort of battled away. I won a few all-ins when I was short stack.
That hurts more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You got back.
He played with turbo flights as well, so he was like burning out a bit because he played 18 hours.
The extended break will be at the end of this level, which will be round about 4:45.
So not been best session for Paul, but ace jack here in the low jack makes it 800.
Ah. Is the dinner break the end of level 6, says Luke? No, definitely end of level 4. End of level 4. It was the end of level 5 in Manchester, one of the days. It's definitely the end of level 4.
The problem with these satellites, when the news start, and the satellites go on until 3-4 in the morning.
If you want to check out all the details, don't forget to look on the Poker Live app for details regarding what's happening in Coventry. At this moment in time, there are still no cash tables running. Few people waiting, but no cash at the minute. If you go onto the app, it shows you there are 128 playing the main. Prize pool currently stands at £103,850. 60-minute clock. At the end of this level.
128. What does that mean? We've lost 40 odd players already?
128, we've lost 46 players somehow.
What?
Somehow we've lost 46 players.
It's the same in Manchester, we just had.
Bonkers in Manchester.
So Simon fires, gets Sebastian to fold the best of it. See what this button does, Tower. Should we have a look?
Go on then, press some buttons. Oh. There you go.
There we go.
We were just talking about the 30-30s and what's happening, and there they are right in the bottom corner for the rest of the season. Jay's thinking about either playing in the poker room in London or in Birmingham.
I think it's Birmingham, 100% Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yep,
He's playing in a new venue called Birmingham.
Yeah, I've never been.
Newcastle or Bury New Road in Manchester. A couple of weeks later, it is then in Reading South, Leicester or Blackpool. And don't forget, Blackpool's on the same week as the GUKPT main event in Edinburgh. So if you're not playing the main event, then Blackpool will be a big one. Never been to Leicester, I must admit. Never. And we need to go, because Paul, who used to work here, and be the GM here, little Paul, he's now in Leicester. So we need to go see him. Never been to Leicester. And then Southampton, Bury New Road again, and Glasgow, and Leeds, Luton, Bolton and Edinburgh for the final 30s of the season. So there's plenty going on, and we'll remind you of the venues for the 30s on a regular basis.
Yeah, King Duke.
Okay, give it a good mix, mate. Aces over here. 2 on the top.
Sean Bond. With Mitch. I have to see him rebuy it.
Jack Armour's famous in London.
Yeah, he stacks his chips in a funny way, like well, he had like a diamond, a triangle, like in no more than 10s.
Normally he has a lot of chips.
Yeah, well he did until I got started getting into him. Yeah.
Until he got in his head.
Yeah, he done what he told him.
So the 30-30s there all season, plenty going. One thing do we think the 25-25s will be back live next year?
They could be.
Do we think?
I think maybe we could run a 30-30 and 25-25 tower. It would just be, I think the 30-30 buying the 440, it might just put a few more people out, like the 225, the 25-25 used to be. It's nearly double that buy-in. So I think may lose a few players just because it's a bit more money, a couple of £100 extra.
Yeah.
But I think it could work with both of them.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it back though.
Davey M94. I must have drove on the M94 at some point in my life. Yeah, was the M94? There's an M74.
Yeah.
That's at Edinburgh, isn't it? Is M94 what? M8, yeah. That's the M8. Yeah. M94, I don't know. GUKPT Edinburgh around the 29th of September. Yes, it is. It's a main event only for the GUKPT in Edinburgh. It is just a main event only, and it's the 29th. We'll be there the 29th setting up. I'm guessing there'll be satellites in the club on the Wednesday. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm probably pretty confident there will be. And then the main event is the 30th until the 3rd of October. So it is a main event. It would have been this week as normal, but obviously restrictions in Scotland didn't change before the guys changed from Edinburgh to Coventry. So we are going up in Edinburgh just for the main event, 30th until the 3rd of October inclusive.
No, I had 2 red cards.
Any thoughts on a GUKPT in Seattle? No, whenever you're travelling to see us, my friend.
Surprised you're not playing today, Scott. I'm guessing
7 off the seats last night.
Was he?
13 seats and £450 it collected. And he was 7 off.
So Chris on the button, ace jack, easy open for him, makes it 900. Raise and take, no action.
He's playing the satellite at 7. You've got to give it another go. Well, you've travelled millions of miles to get here. You might as well play everything. So good luck when you play this satellite tonight. Scott. AKA Scotty 123 says, bring back the 25-25s to 30-30s. It's just a bit out of his range.
Really? Yeah. Really surprised. Yeah.
Oi, oi. A little bit of news for the old Liverpudlians out there. Oh, 25-25 might be new in December. Oh, yeah, cheers, Jim. Yes, what a great place to start. What a great place to start. The 25-25s will be back. I know, obviously, with what happened last year and most of this year regarding restrictions and getting back to normal, things were a little bit different.
But Simon opening the ace queen suited, makes it 800. Andrew with pocket 10s, go either way, call or free bet, opts for free bet to 2k. And now action going to be back on Simon here. We're playing about 55 big blinds effective, so I think we're just going to call here as Simon out of position. Can sometimes come in for a 4-bet if our opponent's been getting out of line a bit too much, but like the call, just take a flop.
King 10-4.
That's middle set for Andrew.
Such a dry board. Can we check?
I want to build a pot really if I'm Andrew here, and the king's out there as well. There's an overcard to our set. We don't block top pair. There can be plenty of king X that Simon has. So doesn't have to go too big. He has gone fairly small, 1.5. But now on this turn, I want to choose a sizing. Andrew's got 12.2, so somewhere around 3-4k, just to size up a nice river jam for ourselves on pretty much every river. There's not going to be a bad river in the deck for us. Yes, a heart can come, but still we'll be jamming heart rivers. But, Simon now, after facing this second barrel, lets it go, just with his Broadway draw.
So around about half an hour to go until the end of this session, and then the 60-minute dinner break. Half an hour to go until the end of this session, and then a 60-minute break and a new table will start for level 5.
Don't forget social media as well. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Twitch. GUKPT on Facebook, Grosvenor Poker. Twitter the same, YouTube /GUKPT and Twitch as well. Kenneth with ace-10 suited, raised at 800. Andrew calls the queen jack in the low jack. Paul wants to come along with the 8-7 on the button. And both blinds get out of the way, three-way action to this one. King 9-4 rainbow. So Kenneth here, choosing to check. Freeway, like to see a bet here on this board. Got some nice back doors. It's king high, fairly dry. Good potential C bet, but it's now check to Paul, who has been playing fairly snug this table, so he's going to use that to his advantage. Always be aware of your image at the table, how other players perceive you, and you can use that to your advantage like Paul's doing here. Maybe less likely to get looked up. But if we're Andrew here, Tower, we can't be folding to 1 bet. But it looks like Kenneth's going to come in for a call here with the ace-10 suited. Choosing to check call rather than continue. There's a fold. Oh, Andrew not gut shot, backdoor flush draw, 3-1 on our money. Paul was fairly short, I guess, 30 odd bigs. Maybe just didn't think the implied odds were there. And Paul takes that one with the 8 high.
Level 4 of the day. Satellite on later. Last chance saloon for the satellite, super satellite, 5 seats guaranteed, £80, unlimited re-entries, starts at 7, late reg until 9:15, 6 20-minute clock levels, and then a 25-minute clock after the registration period has finished. 15,000 starting stack.
Cheers, Sam. Have a good day, mate. See you in the chat a bit later.
Nice one, Sam.
So Matthew squeezing the 9s here, as expected. After these 2 limps in front of us, want to start putting some chips in the pot. Sebastian in with a 5-4 suited. And Andrew not limping to fold the King 8 suited. 3 to the flop.
Ten, 7, 4, 2 spades.
It's a fairly good flop for us here, as Matthew only 1 overcard to our pocket 9s. Expect him to come in for a bet still here. Just for, as I always talk about them equity denial purposes, there are some spots where you have a pocket pair and overcard comes in, it's better to check, but with the 9s here, like a bet on the 10, 7, 4, bet 1.5. And Sebastian with bottom pair. Looking at his chips, makes a good lay down, and Andrew can't do anything but fold in this situation. I'll say that. He's not insta-folded.
He's not calling with the...
there it is.
The backdoors and the 3-1, but he eventually gets out of the way. Coventry started in fine style. The line was set by Razor Kev this afternoon at 370, and there are currently 128. So a nice steady start to Coventry. In the background there, Worbs and Midi still in.
What's the menu? What's it called?
Former Edinburgh champion sat on our table. Single of 5, Paul Green.
No, I just wanted to see the menu.
Satellite starting at 7, 5, 6, guaranteed.
If you're in the hotel. Right, you check yesterday.
2 cards.
Is 6, 8 is the flop. First bet wins.
I can give you a card.
The anecdote. The anecdote. What happened now? I can see the spark on it. Okay, maybe not. The anecdote. Coventry will be menu. Anecdote.
It's got just over 15 minutes left of the session, and then we will head out on an hour dinner break back at 5:45.
With a new table.
Yep. Wouldn't mind that outer one. We can see in the background there with Warbs and MIDI on it.
You see that? That's funny. Nice one. Changes. Yeah, of course I do.
So the final, around about 17 minutes till the end of this session. Good to have you all on board, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, if you want to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch and YouTube, you can.
I'm sure of
Better more or us. Oh, I like it. Simon is our chip leader, who sat in seat number 9, former champion of Edinburgh, Paul Green, in seat number 5. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Twitch. Any of those, just go to Grosvenor Poker. A lot of you watching on YouTube. Most watch on Twitch, but there are some people watching on Facebook as well, so good afternoon everybody.
When's the hour break now?
Yeah. Well, I got the Canadian sticky rings.
Oh, sticky rings, yeah.
You can get like...
Yeah, there's a large portion. You can get 10 or 24.
As you can see there, right above when it says table 20, the average stack is 30,000.
It's 50% a week.
Including weekends. Just
that's not weekend.
no, but I'm just saying.
I'm not sure. Just double check when you win.
If it's nice, it's worth paying.
It's 50%. We didn't know.
Might be 80%.
We didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's really nice of her to ask. Yeah, it's amazing. So
Queen 5-4 is the flop.
Yeah, I need that picture, mate, because
Riffs everybody.
I'll give you this. I'll get it. It's in this.
just have it, isn't it? Simple. I don't mind doing that. Here we go. We valued in there for now.
Especially if you raise.
If I'm not,
I mean, the value goes up.
So
Mind you, you've been knitting it out for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've got some top players in. You know, the top players.
The blinds currently are 1-3 with a 3.
Forward to getting home and studying his speech break. He's not said anything about that.
Starting stack of 20,000.
Yeah, let's drop camera, that's it.
Another stack is shy over 30. And 128 players have played day 1A so far. Still, strangely enough, no cash tables running. Afternoon, Mimsy. Watching on Facebook. Lines at 1-3. Jack 8-6. Another flop that whiffs everybody. So about 2.5 and a raise to 5.2 from Ken. Nice move, Mr. Ken, in seat number 1.
No. He's see better.
So not a bad start to Coventry. 128 runners so far. The line was generously set by Razor Kev at 370. So Rays with ace 10 from Paul in under the gun in seat number 5. 3 bet from Jack, 4 bet from Sebastian with the Cowboys. The ace 10 gets out of the way. And now back round to Jack, who also flicks it in the muck and open folds ace queen, who then gets shown the kings.
Again, aces, kings, how many times? Oh, life's unfair, isn't it? When you've got to play 10-4 and kings are dangerous, aces.
Queen, you get a lot.
Here's 7-3, the ladies flop. The old 7 deuce takes the lead. The king of spades changes nothing on the turn. But the jack of clubs swings it to Simon Baker in C9. Literally cannot see him getting a caller.
I feel like just walk back around the corner and just eat some restaurant all evening. I don't want to come back to this. This is like very painful. Especially if it's 50%. Yeah, I know. Probably going to eat four mains or something. But how the portions that actually you get your 12 wins? Right. I don't know how many pawns I'd get if I was ordering that pawn. Let's take half the farm to be fresh.
Jack in C7, raised to 800 with the threes. Sebastian is going to call pretty loosely with ace6 under the gun +1.
Oh, there's the microphone. Yeah, it's right under. Basically, anything you say is picked up.
Flop of Jack, 4 deuce. The 4 strangely in front. So it checks all the way around, pairs the Jack. Does anybody want it? Simon could make the call, but decides against it. If he's 5-handed and he's got a jack in hand, I'm more intending to lead out on the flop, but it was checked all the way around. Man a call with the 4. Chris does. So heads up to the river. So we're going check, check. I think she's got the best one. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Twitch. Twitch, most people's preferred platform to watch it on.
When we leave, can you turn the lights up again? Well, I think this one I'm trying. The thing is, when we're on tilt, we start to I think we called it off the
So less than 5 minutes to go, as you can see on the clock on the wall behind the right hand side of the table. So we have an all-in and a call. Andy Wright with the sixes gets out flopped. The ace king takes a huge lead. And doubles. So jack in 7. Back up to 10.4.
5,000.
Oh yes, we're in the corner. Yes. Just checking the buttons. You know what it's like. We're going to check the buttons. Yeah, Lewis on the feature table. Which Lewis would that be? Lewis Capaldi?
First time I saw him 6, and then he's found him out and he's followed by 2 more kings.
Lewis Hams? I don't know many Lewises, to be fair. Skinny 6000 was great to play on Monday in the mini main. Sucked out from 55th before end of day 1. The cracking event. Good first game between back to. Yeah, the numbers were incredible, weren't they, for the mini main, finishing 55th. Yeah, the numbers were fantastic. Jay, who is sat with us, finishing 3rd for 17,000. Well done, one and all, if you did manage your cash. Super Satellite yesterday got 13 seats and £450 in cash, and there's another one at 7. Lewis Russell is an absolute shark. Get him on the table. Well, if he's on the table that's close by, you never know. We'll get the names of the new players coming into level number 5 when we resume at 5:45. We're down to the last 2 minutes of the session. And then it'll be more of the same at 5:45. Should be the last hand of the session, this one. Ah, sucked out 55 minutes before the end. Unlucky.
I was going to say that's Rick Trigger.
I knew he'd do well. He sniffed out my bluff early on day 1. Called me like 40 pounds.
So Andy Wright looks like he is on his way. He's had enough. The break clock will be sounding down in a few seconds' time. definitely the last hand of the session. Raised to 1.1 from Chris. Call from Mo in seat 4. Jack calls on the button, which brings in the small blind. The big blind decides to get out of the way with the 10-6. So 4-handed to the final hand of the session. Flop is Ace 9 Jack. Chris bets 2.2, and that should be it. And it is indeed, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the session. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back at 5:45.
First ever poker show, late night poker. I've heard Americans saying, "Oh yeah, late night poker copied WPT." Well, it didn't. Late night WPT came in the early 2000s. Late night poker was the first ever poker show, and I always remember we were on our travels and we were in Vienna. We were at the Concord Card Casino, and I was with the guys. I was with Barney, Ross, and Ram, and we were all in the bar and we were chatting with Nick Cerametta. And Nick Cerametta had a glass of red wine in his hand, like he normally does. And he's a lovely little fella and a good friend. And he was talking about, he'd just put forward to Channel 4 the idea for poker on TV. And the idea was that they would film the game, but they would have glass bits in front of each player where the cards would sit on, and they would have cameras underneath the table. I mean, these days they would have lipstick cameras. This was the old-fashioned late night poker with the cameras underneath the table. So the camera would get the cards, the chips, and the player's face, and they sold this to Channel 4. Okay, Channel 4 have agreed to buy this. But Nick was telling us he was having trouble to get players. He was asking players, "Do you want to play on this poker show?" And people were saying, "No, we don't want to play." Why would we play? Then people can see what we do. People can see the moves we make, and we'll never be able to win playing poker again. At this point, Ram walks up. He says, "What's going on, guys?" So we told him. Ram says, "I'll play." And we all said, "Yeah, we'll play." We said, "What's the buy-in?" He said, £1,500. It's 40 players or 50 players. So we said, "Yeah, we'll play." And we all said that we'd play, and we played. And we went off to a small production company in Cardiff called Presentable. Sadly, it's not there anymore. And we would all turn up, and we would all, this was pre-internet, pre-online poker, and there were no sponsors, no branding, no advertising, nothing. It was just Channel 4 buying a TV show. Anyway, we made the show. It became, late night poker became like a family. Everybody would watch everybody else's heat. Everybody would stay for the whole week. Jesse May would bet on every match. He was the original commentator with Nick. Jesse May would always lose his money. It was just, and when the show went out, obviously Devilfish was the first ever winner, the first winner of late night poker. And weirdly, he knocked me out with quad 10s in the final. The same hand that Jennifer Harman knocked me out in that we were talking about earlier. So anyway, he knocked me out in the final, and he went on to win it. Yeah. And the show became a cult success. Everybody was talking about it. Anyway, the final in the first series got 2 million viewers on Channel 4 going out at midnight on a Friday night.
You do want to get that there.
Well, at the time, Brookside was the #1 show on Channel 4. Andy Booth will know Brookside because it's filmed in a certain part of the UK. And Brookside would get they would get the figures, but they used to have an omnibus on the Saturday. And Brookside figures for that week, including the omnibus, were behind late night poker figures for the final. 2 million viewers. So it became a cult success. And what happened, Phil, was now all of a sudden everybody wanted to be on the show.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be on the show. But there were only 40 or 50 players on the show. And because we had supported the show from the start, we were kind of grandfathered in, and we were the first ones to be invited back. So we got to be, I mean, originally there were 6 series of Late Night Poker. They had later adaptations that they called different things, but there were 6 series of Late Night Poker originally. I made 3 finals, and Dave Colclough and I are tied for the record number of Late Night Poker shows that we've been on.
Like it. Was it a 6-handed final, the first one?
No, it was 8-handed.
8-handed.
Yeah.
I'm going to run you through the first ever final table.
Sorry, say that again, Phil?
I'm going to run you through the first ever 8 players.
Go on then.
On the final. Dave Elliott, the Devilfish. Pete Evans.
Brian McNally.
No. Dave Welsh.
Yes.
Surinder Soonar.
Yes.
Liam Flood. Mr. Beavers. Joe Fernandez. And Malcolm Harwood. Malcolm Harwood. Now, tell you what,
there's a few old school players in that lot.
If we're touching on old schools, they are old school. Unbelievable. That is a fantastic final. I tell you what, that is a quality. And you all became friends and probably still friends with everybody that's still playing as well.
I'll tell you what happened. There was a big change that happened was when, as time went on, the first 6 series were the original 6 series. But as time went on, they started to get branding. It was sponsored by different online poker sites.
Yeah.
And they also started filming at the Welsh filming ITV offices because they needed bigger things. They needed a bigger studio and more people and stuff.
Yeah.
And they increased the buy-ins and they messed around with it a bit. But what would happen was the Late Night Poker family changed. Because, like I say, in the first series and the second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth series, we'd turn up on the Monday, we'd only played 1 heat, and the semi and the final. But everybody would watch everybody else's heat in the green room. We'd order pizza, we'd drink wine and beer, it would be a fun thing. We'd all go out for dinner together. But what happened in the later Late Night Poker is when the Americans got involved, they would fly in, turn up, play their heat, disappear. So the whole family became very disjointed, and the fun part of Late Night Poker disappeared.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't getting 2 million viewers anymore, and there were sponsors involved. And then Channel 4 didn't want to pay for the production, and the sponsors started to disappear in poker as the poker economy evolved.
Yeah.
And the show died.
Moving on, I think most people just watching the Late Night Poker, and if it was repeated, people would still watch it. I'm convinced that people would love to see the early technology and you guys sitting there with a fire. You're just smoking away, you're having a drink at the table.
It was almost compulsory. It was almost compulsory. They made Vicky and I they made sure that we had cigarettes when we played. I remember, Phil, just a very quick anecdote. We were playing at the Commerce. We'd been to the Commerce. This is a few years later. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Commerce. Huge poker room in LA. Now, on the wall, there's 4 TV screens, and each TV screen is roughly the size of a football pitch. They are the biggest TV screens I've ever seen. And they would have like 4 different games, baseball, basketball, on the American football on these screens. Now, as I walked into the room one day, they had one thing on the 4 screens. They'd joined the 4 screens together to make one image. And it was Ram Vaswani again on the screen. And as I sat down to play, I looked up and it was Fox Sports had bought Late Night Poker, and they were showing one of the shows that Ram was in, and he was on all 4 screens. And the American guy, as I sat down, he turned to his friend and he went, "Those Brits, they copy everything that we do. We had the WPT, and look at them, now they've got their own poker show." This is what I was saying before, but Late Night Poker was first. It was the first ever poker show.
Yeah, and it was an absolute classic. And like I say, if it was on TV right now, we would still be watching it. This is fabulous. I'm absolutely loving with this. Back with part 4 very soon. And now with the tower, part 4, the legend that is Mr. Joe Beavers is right over there.
Legend, yeah.
The British Open 2002 PLO, you won it for 25,000. It was the biggest win so far. PLO, was it and is it still your favourite game?
I think when I first started playing Hold'em, okay, like I say, we learnt by playing, and we would share, we'd talk to each other, and we would do things that didn't have names. We would play squeeze plays, but it wasn't called a squeeze play. It was just something that Ram worked out once and told us, and it worked, and we did it. What's happened in Hold'em is it's kind of been solved. There's so many players that are far more dedicated, and far better than I'll ever be now. And you know, I can still play okay. I think I think I do okay still. But players they've solved Hold'em with all their trackers and everything else, and you know, all the game theory and players, Candy Hills and Richard Trigg. You know, it's hard to compete. Whereas in Omaha, it's kind of like it used to be for me. People still make elementary mistakes. People still overvalue their hands. People still misplay from position. People don't understand. It hasn't been, I mean, yes, there's lots of learning aids, but people don't, there's lots of people that play that make mistakes that they shouldn't make. Whereas the overall field in Hold'em, there's the percentage of really good players in Hold'em is far greater than the percentage of really good players in Omaha. So when I sit in an Omaha tournament or a Hold'em tournament, I'm much more likely to win and to do better in the Omaha tournament. And it's something that I enjoy. I have various things that I do that worked 15, 20 years ago that still work today. It's hard to say that about Hold'em. So yeah, I kind of do prefer it. It's definitely my preferred cash variant for sure.
Moving on to the year after. I tell you what, 2003. You're talking about players that can't play Omaha. What about the guy that could play snooker, but unfortunately didn't win the world title? Probably the greatest player of all time never to win the world title, but had you heads up for a lot of money in the
I mean, people might remember the Poker Million. The original Poker Million took place on the Isle of Man in 2000. TV. It was actually, the final was actually done live. Barney Boatman was in the final, Tony Bloom was in the final, and it was won by a very good friend of ours, John Duffy. Million pound prize money. And then there was supposed to be a Poker Million in 2003 at the Hilton Metropole on the Edgware Road. But this is before the 2005 Gaming Act. And there were lots of rumours that the police were going to come in and they were going to bust it up. Things like tons, temporary use notices that they have now when they hold events in hotels in the UK didn't exist then. And the organisers of the Poker Million got a little bit of cold feet and they cancelled the event. Now that was, I think that might have been in 2001 or 2002. Now in 2003, they decided to bring the Poker Million back, but they called it Poker Million the Masters. And it was a slightly smaller buy-in and a slightly smaller prize money, but it was made for TV. And this is the event that you're talking about. So I played the event and I got heads up with Jimmy White. Now, I had a chip lead on him and he was an okay player, but I was pretty confident I was going to beat him. And we played and we played and we played. Anyway, I set him in and he folded, and I set him in again and he folded. And then I set him in, I think I had ace 10, and he called me with the 6-4 of spades. I had 2/3 of the chips, maybe a little bit less, and he had 1/3 of the chips. But the blinds were big, and he's either limped or made a small raise, and I've moved all in, and he's called me with the 6-4 of spades. And the board ran out, and he either rivered a 4 or rivered a 6 to beat me. And I said to him afterwards, when I was chatting to him, I said, Jimmy, why did you call all your chips off with the 6-4 of spades? He said, Joe, he said, you don't understand. He said, 3 hands earlier, you moved all in, and I had the 6-4 of spades. And it's one of my most favourite hands. I wasn't passing it twice. And that's why he called with the 6-4 of spades. But I remember the trophy, right? The trophy for this tournament was one of the nicest trophies I've ever seen. It was about this big, and it was metal, and it had the cards with the 4 suits, Poker Million, the Masters. It was a really, really, really amazing trophy. Anyway, I'm stood at the back. I was still in the main studio. We're obviously all mic'd up. I think we're wearing heart monitors. And Jimmy is across the studio on the other side of the poker table. And he's doing an interview with Barry Hearn, and they're presenting Jimmy the trophy. And as they present him the trophy, my then girlfriend, who is now my wife, Claire, she walked in at the back of the studio, and she came to me and she said, "Oh, I'm lucky, Joe, I'm lucky." And as they presented Jimmy the trophy, I whispered in Claire's ear, "I wanted that effing trophy." But I actually said the word instead of saying effing. I said, "Look at it." I said, "Look at that trophy. I wanted that effing trophy." What I didn't realise was my mic was still on.
Oh.
We were still broadcasting live on Sky. And if you go to YouTube and you find Jimmy being presented this trophy, there's a clip of him on YouTube being presented this Poker Million, the Masters trophy. And as Barry Hearn hands in the trophy, you can hear this voice that says, "I wanted that effing trophy." Anyway, that's me in the background.
But 2003 wasn't all bad, because you then went to Dublin, one of the finest places in the entire world to play poker, and you managed the first place in probably one of the great. It's just the Irish Open has to be on a poker player's calendar, and any serious poker player, it has to be a place where everybody wants to stop. And you've actually won it. That must feel still right now so good.
It is. You know, in my lounge right now, okay, I have one trophy out.
Mm-hmm.
One trophy. It's not the Poker Million trophy. I remember Liam Flood presented it to me. It's a great big cut crystal decanter, really nice cut crystal decanter and 4 cut crystal glasses on a nice plinth. And that's the only trophy I have out in my lounge, and it's my Irish Open trophy. Like I was saying before, we would travel from one event to each event at different times of the year. Every Easter was always the Irish Open, and every October was always the Irish Winter Festival, both in Dublin. And I nearly won the Irish Open twice, Phil. In 2001, there were 3 of us left. And I was playing with Paul, I can't remember his second name, and an Irish lady, another lady called Jennifer Hegarty. And Jennifer and I had over half the chips, 3-handed, in the 2001 Irish Open final. I got a bit unlucky. I won't bore you with the stories, but I got a bit unlucky. I remember Mickey Finn was watching, and he came up to me afterwards. He said, "Joe," he said, you were so unlucky not to win this tournament." And Jennifer Hegarty went on to win it. Jenny Hegarty was an Irish grandmother. And for the next 20 years, well, not quite 20 years, for the next 10 years or so, Liam Flood, every time he saw me, would come up to me and remind me that I got beaten by an Irish grandmother. 2 years later, back on the Irish Open final table. Marty Smith was on the final table. And what's his name? The guy that I was heads up with?
Frank Callahan.
Frank Callahan. I was heads up with Frank Callahan. And I can remember, I used to run so much better in those days. I can remember having kings heads up and flopping a king. And that was my winning hand. I never used to play the nuts. And yeah, that's kind of, I think that was, if I could choose to win one tournament, I think it would have been the Irish Open. And something else about that Irish Open actually is we actually did live coverage of the 2003 Irish Open on the Hendon Mob website. And the live coverage was a webcam stuck to the wall with sellotape. That was the first tournament that we ever did live coverage on.
If you look